Happy Saturday. We had a show last week, but I wasn't there for the whole thing. So after a semi-absence of our last overnighter, your Geek Daddy is back with you for another Sci-Fi Center Live Saturday night overnighter brought to you by the Poindexter Lounge and the Sci-Fi Center's YouTube page, which is youtube.com/at the Sci-Fi Center. And we got a couple of sponsors. Or actually, we're gonna have intermissions throughout because I got two commercial sponsors I actually want to put on there. But our first quick readout sponsor is, I hate saying this name, but I will. I am never gonna get used to Max over HBO Max, but our sponsors tonight are Max, and they are bringing back Clone High. They're back again for the first time. Clone High, the newest series, premieres May 23rd on Max. So there you go. I got little posters and all that around here for that. So there you go. Have yet to watch that, but there's a lot of stuff I've yet to watch. So watch Clone High, May 23rd. That is Tuesday. So I'm thinking it's on Tuesday. Also, Sister Kim's Kitchen. I can't advertise them any more than I already have by literally eating their food on our show. There's their menu, seafood. I've ran through this menu. So is Ray now. And obviously by the Sci-Fi Center, me. Comic books, toys, posters, events, magazines, 900 Karen. They've changed the street. It's now 900 Liberace Avenue, Suite B209, upstairs in the New Orleans Square, part of the historic Commercial Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, 702-900-GEEK, 702-900-4335, or you can catch me at the sci-fi-center.com. All of our social media is there as well. Woo! So some of the stuff we're going to be talking about, it is the 3-year anniversary to the date of Zack Snyder's Justice League being announced. I remember that day. That day was a special day, regardless to how many haters we have, or, no one is going to ever take away the moment where we were all watching that on live stream and he flips that camera around and we see that. To me, that's always going to be special. And I remember watching it with Chris Wong Swinton. It was one of the coolest things I saw because he was one of the guys that was there from the beginning. And while I'm watching his stream live, he's just losing his mind. He was wearing a fedora, and I remember he tossed it. Other things we're going to be talking about is the unfortunate effects of the writer's strike. Hey, how you doing, Tim? There's some people that I wanted to talk to and have on our show, specifically our Star Trek show, that cannot come on the show because of the writer's strike. So, and I support the hell out of them. I hope everything works out, but damn, it sucks. But yeah, this writer's strike is quietly spreading out there. Also, I'm going to see The Flash on Monday, and I'm taking 50 of my best friends, or 50 friends, I don't know how best they are, here in some Las Vegas. Some of you are watching and will be going with us on Monday. We're going to have several screenings, so if you missed out on this one, trust me, we will be going to more screenings of The Flash. But Monday the 22nd is where finally my most anticipated movie in quite a long time. I think more so than Dune, because I know what Dune has to offer me. But the Flash movie, I think, is going to answer a lot of questions. And once it is released, once it is in the atmosphere, I'm just going to sit back and see the kind of business decisions that are made. All right. I'll bring in what is usually my wingman, but he was a pilot last week. What's going on, Thade?
Not much, man. Just coming off of that gnarly appreciation stream.
Yeah, I mean, that's just weird. I thank you, Rhea, for throwing that for me. I'm a behind the scenes guy. Um, I just do. That's the way I worked in the military. I was in logistics. I just do stuff. And I just, I never wanted to be in the forefront of anything. Getting this whole YouTube thing going on, to be honest with you, was something I held off on for a long time. And I don't put my name on my business cards. I never make it about me. It's always about the machine that I'm running or involved in, that I always put in front and kind of hide behind. So it was weird to have anything that was focused on me in that matter. But it was cool, though. Thank you, everybody who chipped in and watched. Thank you, Rhea and Max, for putting that on. Nerd Queens, Nana was there. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for staying up at 3 a.m. in the morning to make that appearance. That meant a lot. So, and everybody else who had some kind words to say. And then, like I said, we had some good structured conversation, which is what it generally turns into when I get around. We started talking about box office. We started talking about, money And the main hallmarks of this show or any show that I'm on is, yes, I am a fan, 100%. I am his biggest fanboy, possibly bigger than some of you out there. As far as my fandom led me to be sitting in the middle of a place like this. But I am in a place like this, and there's fandom, and then there's practical reality, and the basis of what everything I speak and say is not out of some infinite wisdom, but it's out of having to pay a bill, having to keep something open, having to take a risk, a calculated risk, and making sure that you mitigate that risk so that it pays off, or at the very least doesn't hurt you. And that's what these film companies are doing. That's what these streamers are doing. That's what these studios are doing. So it's whatever I try to bring to the conversation is pragmatism, as far as there's nothing wrong with being a fan. However, where you run into the minefield is when you apply fanboy logic to operations. They don't always mix. As a matter of fact, they never mix. So, but yeah, that's where I'm coming from when it comes to this. But no, it was a good stream. It lasted a lot. It lasted quite a while. I thought it was going to be on there for 30 minutes and it would fizz out. It never fizzed out. So,
No.
and that's where I'm at. This week has been weird. I just found out Friday I was going to see The Flash. I mean, I was literally on my way here, and I was told, "Hey, how quickly can you get a bunch of people together to go see The Flash on Monday?" And I'm like, in 20 minutes it took me to get, and then they said, it came back and said, "Don't rush it because we got more screenings there." So they're going all out for The Flash. They are going all out for The Flash. They want as many people to see this as possible before they release it, so that we can go out. If we like it, we can go out and talk to people. The embargo doesn't go down until a couple of days before the movie release, which sucks because that means when I go see it Monday, I can't tell you guys about it. It kind of sucks. The whole point was to let me talk about it, but guess we're not. How have you been, Thane? Like I said, you were here last week, but I wasn't. I was in and out.
Well, I got some bad news this week, but I'm getting through it. Um, Other than that, I've had just kind of a week.
Yeah, I mean, things turned out the way they turned out. The event was successful. It's over with. This is sort of a stress-free weekend. I mean, by stress-free, I'm only running the store. I'm not really caught up in anything right now. And to be honest with you, I miss those weekends to where it's just straight up, come in, turn on the lights, sell some stuff, and leave. I
Right.
appreciate the events. The events are fun. They're great. They bring traffic. They add to. They are as much part of the store as the merchandise on the shelf. But damn, do they take a lot of energy out of you, boy.
Oh, I'm sure they kind of
Wow.
eat you, man. They're.
So these next few weekends, like I said, screenings and premieres and stuff like that. Those handle themselves. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get. I can't wait to see the kind of stuff we get for the Flash because we got a ton of stuff for Fast X. Which, by the way, where is Fast X as far as box office goes? Is that
Let me
is
look.
that
Let me look.
because I know I've heard people were telling me that the box office projections weren't going to be good, but then they always say that stuff, and then like I said, people were reading box office projections like they're tea leaves or something, because I'm still trying to figure out how Guardians is a success at 500 million. Is that where the Guardians jump up? Let me look up Guardians too.
Okay, so we've got a worldwide for Fast X was 320 million debut.
Whoa, well that's global. What was domestic?
Yeah, well, I just said global on that. Domestic, it was 67.3.
How much?
67.3 million.
Ooh, what was it projected? Do you know?
Give me a second. Projection.
Let's see what the opinions about the. I mean, it's kind of hard to judge because I haven't seen it yet, but the reviews off of it, can you tell? Because if you're just going for the Wild Coyote action, is it really? All right, let's see.
Looks
Fast.
like it. Looks
Go
like
ahead.
it's 7 million above prediction because it had a $60 million North American box office prediction for the weekend.
Okay, writing the rap, Jeremy Fruster, what a weird name, predicted that Fast X may be less profitable than some of its predecessors, citing the film's sudden increased overall production budget to, yeah, it really is expensive to make. Holy cow, by 70%, larger than Fast Nine, and expected large marketing budget. Yeah, we got tons of stuff for that. And April 23, so the film made 28 million. Okay, lower than the pre-pandemic averages, but just about where I guess they wanted to be. Because here's why. Man, they weren't messing around with Fast and the Furious. Because I got all kinds of stuff. I got giant posters. I got little posters. I got decals. Why you want to do it? You want to put them on your want to put the white Fast X logo on your hot rod? You're ahead. I got the keychain. You know how he has a keychain?
Mm-hmm.
Tons of those. I got tank tops. Ride or die.
Wow.
For your mistress. And then we got the normal shirts. Ride or die on the sleeve. Fast X logo on there. And thermoses and hats, but those are gone. So yeah, they put they did not skimp on the ad budget when it came to Fast. So now Guardians of the Galaxy, though, okay. Like I said, everybody's telling me that's a success, and that it didn't have a big drop, but I'm like, you spent quite a bit on that movie, and like I said, it was a good movie. I mean, if you're an animal lover and don't like animal abuse, and maybe not, but Okay, so its production budget was $250 million. All right, and I know for a fact that they spent decent money on ad revenue or ad budget on that because we got stuff like this. By the way, I got this signed by Lloyd Kaufman from Troma because he has a cameo because he worked with James Gunn. He gave him a start. He has a cameo, so there's Lloyd Kaufman's poster. So you figure they spent another, maybe $100 million on that, and right now that's at $559 million. Now, good movie, but if this was DC, we would be chasing, Zack Snyder through the forest with flaming torches, looking like Frankenstein. I guess my question is, what is considered a box office success at this point? Is it just all subjective?
I think it's all subjective. I think that there's opinions vary, as they say. You know.
And that's worldwide for Guardians of the Galaxy. Because if you look at Guardians of the Galaxy domestically, because when you go global, even if you pull in $1 billion globally, the home country gets the lion's share of that. Like when you release in China, China is going to get the lion's share of that because they have to pay for the infrastructure in there. So what did it let's see. What did Guardians make domestically? Box office. Guardians Galaxy 3. All right. That's a stiff budget. Okay, Guardians. Because I know it got a China release, which is good for it. All right, domestically is 242 million. Released in 4,450 theaters. The worldwide is 316 for a total of 559. So the majority of that money was made where they don't get the most of their money. And I'm not saying do not jump on me saying I'm hating on Guardians of the Galaxy, but I'm just curious going forward, what is considered a success? Because now we got that same guy who is going to be taking over, to me, depending on how much you spend, I guess, it will depend on how much. So if you get away with 150 million on Superman, which I think is the minimum you could spend, if you pull in this kind of money, I'm popping champagne.
Yeah.
It's just all weird. And Guardians of the Galaxy is actually is a great movie. So yeah, and I love James Gunn's storytelling. I didn't need to see this movie to be convinced that he was a good storyteller. I saw that. I saw enough of that in the Suicide Squad. He
Yeah.
made me care about Polka Dot Man. That's and you know, and it's just so I think he's. I just think he's going to be up against it. All right.
Yeah, it's always special when they make you care about a character that you never thought you'd care about.
Yeah, like because right before Polka Dot Man gets stepped on,
Yeah.
that's like I'm like, dude, and I knew it was coming. Soon as he told me, as soon as he started saying his lines, I'm like, you're about to die, aren't you? And sure enough, Starros smashes him. Sorry,
Dude,
spoiler alert. It's
that movie made me care about Starro. Okay?
yeah, and
The
then
the part
Peacemaker.
where he
Yeah,
said
Starro was excellent in that.
the part where he says that all I wanted to do was float in the nothing, and
Yeah, I was happy
I
floating in
was
the
happy
stars,
floating in the stars,
floating, staring at the stars. That line, out of
That
all the wackiness in that movie, that line struck me, and it made me hate all those people even more. It made me hate Waller even more. It made me
yeah.
hate Peter Capaldi's character even more. That whole thing, because you realize that what he was brought there. He wasn't the enemy. He was now in the comics, Scar was a conqueror and all that, but here it was different. He was just somebody that they captured and they brought back with them and they experimented on him. But you
Mhm.
know, so yeah, it was mankind that was the evil thing, and I thought that line was cool. That one line right before he dies was stuck me long after the movie, and then no, don't follow Thade. Hey, hey, don't be. This is my spot. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, they're in Peacemaker. The first two episodes of Peacemaker were I thought were stupid, even though they were setting the table, and I guess I could see where they were going. The third one was kind of, but then the midway through the fourth one, when he finally realizes what his father did to him and all the stuff that he's been hiding in his head and his
Mhm.
file, and then after that, and the whole, you know, when Diebeard and when he gives his speech, when he's talking to the people why, you know, why he dyes his beard after being made fun of by Peacemaker the whole time. Robert Patrick was excellent in that show. Uh,
Dude, such a
oh,
scumball, such a scumbag, but really cool character.
I just wanted to stab him and his just rhetoric. He was perfect for that role. And then Peacemaker too. And then see now, and at the end scene where they're all just sitting on the, you see pretty much who's going to be your cast for next season. You got the little moth, the one that was played by Annie Chang. You got the moth.
Yeah.
You got his father, who's going to be like the Dexter ghost in his head. And then you have the Peacemaker that was there. I really enjoyed it, and like I said, I can like James Gunn and still want DC to be consistent and finish what they started. I don't want the conclusion of my story arc with Zack Snyder at the exclusion of all else. I love the Batman. I went to see Shazam. I liked Shazam. I thought uh, Black Adam was a decent movie. It was a mess, but it was fun. I've gone to see every DC movie that they put out since. So I can embrace what James Gunn, and I'm looking forward to see what James Gunn does with Paradise Lost. I can't wait for that. And then Wonder Woman, Dead Earth. But guess what? If I go see The Flash and I like Sasha Calles and they leave it open ended for me to enjoy that character, guess what? We got more than one brain cell in our heads. I can follow her story if you decide to do something else with her, and I can follow whatever you're going to do with whatever, you know, blonde hair, blue eyed one you're going to get to play Kar-Zor-El in that universe. I can follow with a Ben Affleck solo story that takes place here and a Matt Reeves one in a couple years that takes place there. I got more than 3 brain cells to handle that. We're not stupid. And every time I hear people say, well, there's too many, they can't do that, he has to do his own thing because that'll be too confusing. I always say this. If your storyteller, in order for that to be confusing, one of 2 groups of people have to be morons. Your customer, your audience has to be a group of morons, or your storyteller is a moron. I don't
Mhm.
think either is the case. I think these people are talented storytellers, and I think although fans do stupid stuff, we're not stupid by nature, and we're not inherently dumb. If you lay it out for us, if you lay the breadcrumbs out, you can have as many of these characters as you want to. Guess who did it for 80 years? DC Comics invented this type of storytelling. So at the very least, I hope the Flash opens up for multiple interpretations of these characters. And let's get rid of that's going to be too confusing. They'll be competing with themselves. Just knock that stupid shit off. Please stop it. All you're doing is you're listening to other YouTubers and other knuckleheads say stuff and repeating it in your head, just like Reboot. All right. You heard someone say reboot. You heard a group of people say reboot, and like a mockingbird or a parrot, you're like, reboot, gotta start over. When if anybody asked you about the business dynamics, the pros and cons of doing so, no one ever had an answer. So if the Flash does bonkers and dictates more of those people in the movie, give it to them. But that doesn't mean you have to not do Superman Legacy or that I'm against that. Just give it all to me. You know what? As long as they all are good, people won't mind. If Matt Reeves puts out another good Batman movie, people are going to see it. If Ben Affleck comes out and puts out a good Batman movie, people are going to see. Do you need to release them on the same day? No, stagger them. Shit, the Batman's not coming out until what? The next presidential administration? Literally. So we got time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, stagger these things. So that's what I say. I think the Flash is going to open the door. I hope it opens the door to a different way of thinking that is generated largely by greed. Make as much money as you can while you can. Because right now, there's no guarantee, as highly as I think of James Gunn, there is no guarantee that he's not going to deal with the same uphill battle that Zack Snyder did, because the man babies have a death grip on their version of Superman. And it takes them forever for their knuckles to thaw out to let in another Superman. It might take you 2 to 3 years. Does that mean you made a bad movie? No, but you have to understand that and give it time. So let's have other things going on. Let's have a Superman people. Let's wrap up. And the time that it takes for this to get off, you could have wrapped this up. They really could have. They could have put a bow on this, and then that would have been it. Would have been over. And by the time that they wrap this one up, guess what? We're being pole vaulted into this new thing with James Gunn. Momentum, sustained momentum. That's one thing DC Films has never had. And I don't know if they're ever going to get, because they don't know how to handle the momentum that they have sometimes. Like, for instance, if the Flash makes 1.5 billion and they decide to just go away from it completely and jump into this new thing, that's stupid. That's dumb.
Well, see, but that's the thing, William. I don't think they understand advanced momentum. That's been my problem with DC this whole time. Like, literally, they start a thing and then they don't finish a thing.
People feel that. People, listen, there's a certain thing, it's like there's a rhythm that goes, it's retail rhythm. It's retail rhythm. And now if every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have 50% off on Daredevil Day. All right. I'm just throwing some bullshit out there. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I got a customer that comes in, and that's what he expects. All right. And every Tuesday and Thursday, you get a free Batman keychain on those days. And I do that for a while, and I keep that going. Now, I decide to end that, but I've gotten that customer on that retail rhythm to the point wherever I put in on those days, I change up the keychain. I change up the discount. That customer has trust me now with their time. It's like when we were doing movies every week, we had customers that showed up. They didn't even know what the movie was. They just knew that we were going to give them a good time. And that's what DC needs to develop. That's what Marvel did. That's what allowed Marvel to put out some really mediocre and average movies, because they had done enough to keep their customers in that positive rhythm. They trusted them with their time. And that's where DC needs to get to. And that's why I say don't do a full reboot, because you're basically telling everybody who trusted you with their time, whether it's a hardcore geek like me or a 97%er who's non-geek, that's still time. That's still, when you waste somebody's time, you don't always hear about it on a YouTube channel. They just walk away. And they don't do it with hate. They're just saying, that's too confusing. What's this over here? It's like the
Yep.
laser. You just you lost the laser. They aimed it at something else, and that something else got it. So Flash is super, super important. Super, super important. All right, let me talk to Larry here. It makes perfect sense that to me that Snyder is busy for a few years. Netflix, Cavill's busy with Warhammer, and Affleck wants to do direct stuff. After a few years, though, multiverse time. Yeah, and to be honest with you, artists gravitate to passion. This is going to be something that burns in all of these men's and women's heads. If they were given the opportunity to finish things up, it ain't going to matter how busy anybody is. These guys have entire production companies under them. 2 of the 3 people that you just brought up literally have production companies under them to make things happen. They can do 5, 6 projects if they want to. They're working on several projects at the same time. So yeah. I think that DC dropped the ball by not filling in the gaps while we were waiting for this new thing. I'm not saying don't even give me the new thing, because eventually this was going to end no matter what. But you've lost some momentum, and now we have September 2025. All right, we're barely in 20. We're barely halfway through 2023, man. You know how much can happen in 18 to 19 months, and then stuff gets. And then now we're not even, those dates aren't even guaranteed because you have the writer's strike. So we may not even be dealing in 2025 for some of these projects. And that's just a lot of time to move on. And like I said, you got these people here now. So like I said, let's go through the chat real quick.
Hold on. I've got some questions saved.
Yeah. I forgot you have to do that.
Yeah. I'm already on top of it, bro. We got this. Hey Williams, so the Flash budget is $220 million. Reportedly has to make $660 to break even. Do you think the movie will flop or succeed? It'll succeed.
Yeah, I think they know it'll. The people I get to talk to, the ones that are giving me tickets and this cool stuff to give away, they are high on this movie, and these are people I haven't heard high on anything DC. They just deal with it because it's there. These same people are really high on this movie. I haven't heard a bad thing. Stephen King is up there saying it's great.
Yep.
It's I think, and this is what I mean. The difference between what DC was doing now and the DC is doing now and what they've been doing the last 5 to 7 years, they've made you feel like this is an event level movie, that this is a must see movie. And they haven't done that for a long, long time. Justice League would have been that, but they screwed that up. So 660, I think the Flash is going to. I think we could be back here on June 20th and be like, oh, oops. I think the Flash is going to flirt with $1 billion. It's definitely going to make 660.
I think it'll hit probably 850 to 9, easy. Could do more though.
Is Flash getting a China released?
I think
so. I think so.
Yeah,
so,
let me look.
I like this next couple of months as far as movies goes, I got Indiana Jones, I got Dune. I got
Dune will be the outlier. It'll be in November.
Yeah. That'll be the one that wins the cat. Oppenheimer, the first Christopher Nolan movie I've ever looked forward to seeing.
I actually liked Interstellar, but that's just me.
I liked it, but it wasn't jump out to see that. The last time I was possibly anticipating seeing a Christopher Nolan movie was The Dark Knight, and that wasn't because of him or anything he did. That was because of Heath Ledger.
So this says, despite ongoing controversy surrounding lead star Ezra Miller, it's been confirmed that Flash has secured a release in China.
Okay, by the way, you hear what he just said? Read that again, Thade.
Despite ongoing controversy surrounding lead star Ezra Miller, it's been confirmed that the Flash has secured a release in China.
Okay, all you guys out there, but Ezra's too much about this and that. Nobody cares. All right? Nobody cares in any significant volume that it's going to hurt anything. And whether they use him again or not has nothing to do with this. They don't care. And you cannot tell me they'll never. And John Campea, who I respect and love, and watch his show every day. I don't know what he's doing with the whole podcast thing, but that's another stream. has said it. They're never going to use him again. And then he's kind of going, well, if they use him again, they've lost me. Okay, great. They've lost you. They've lost a pundit. They're going to count the money in front of them. They're not going to count. No one cares about this stuff. Okay, guys. I know the varieties and the dirt sheets and everything else make it to where it seems like you're going to have people boycotting and picketing the Flash because of Ezra and his adventures. Nobody cares. And you know what, guys? They don't have to. Your customer can care about whatever the hell they want to, and they can not care about whatever the hell they want to. That's the free market. It's the beauty of the free market. So, but yeah, it's gonna get released in China. Dude, I would be shocked. I would be shocked if it didn't hit 660. I would be shocked because it not only is it seem like it's a great movie from what I've heard. If it gets positive word of mouth, then it may have legs. And it's got a while. I don't know what gets released within its window. It might have a good, strong second, third week, but it's projected. The Flash is projected is like 140 million for the first week domestic, which is actually. Oh no, it's actually more because it's good. They say its projections are higher than what Guardians of the Galaxy were. So here, hold on, Flash. Projections movie Flash box office projection. The site estimated domestic opening week of somewhere between 115 million to 140 million, with a domestic total projection of what 280 million to 375 million. Now that means, let's see, this is from the direct. All right, the first box office projection for DCU's. This is from yesterday. Latest entry, The Flash, started the conversation of whether the movie will succeed or flop. DC Studios is only a few weeks away from initially debuting Star Speedster's first solo movie on the big screen, which will bring Michael Keaton's Batman back into the spotlight, along with a few other key heroes and villains. Considering the movie's multiversal story and star power involved, Warner Brothers is certainly hoping The Flash to be a hit, especially considering a few early reviews that call it one of the best superhero movies ever made. You don't hear that a lot. Okay. Box Office Pro shared its box office projections for Warner Brothers of Flash before it opens up in June 18th. The site estimated that opening weekend somewhere between 115 million to 140 million with a domestic total. Okay, we got over that. Should The Flash reach the high end of that mark, it would be the highest domestic opening weekend for a DCEU since Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, which opened at 166 million at the box office. Most recently, Shazam! Fury of the Gods opened to a horrid 30 million domestically in March. Black Adam had a lukewarm 67 million and debuted in North America, Canada. All right, the franchise top opening weekends can be seen below. Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, 166 million. The Suicide Squad, David Ayer's one, 133 million. Man of Steel, 160 million. Wonder Woman, 103 million. And Justice League, 93 million. Now, I don't know why. Okay, Aquaman is right after that. All right, so top domestic totals for DCU can be seen below. Wonder Woman domestically 412, Aquaman 335 million. Aquaman made the lion's share of its money in China. Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice 230 million, and Suicide Squad 225 million. Man of Steel 291 million total. So it could make like a big, large part of its domestic total just in the first weekend alone if it reaches that 200 million area. So wow. And like I said, none of those movies that we just listed had the advanced word of mouth positively that The Flash had. So numbers, I know I take the long neighborhood around to get to the answer. Yes, it will succeed. All right, next one.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny currently has a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes from 29 reviews. Do you think it'll be one of those cases of critics hating it and fans love it, or is this a bad sign?
The latter. I think Indiana Jones is a brand name, and it's 80-year-old Harrison Ford, so cut him some slack. I think Indiana Jones will be okay because people are going to give that franchise is a mostly loved franchise. I'm not a big fan of The Last Crusade or the last one, The Crystal Skull, but most people in general love Indiana Jones and they love Harrison Ford. I think the average fangoer is just going to go see it for that brand name. They've done it right with that character. His brand name's loyalty is stronger than a critic's rating. So so I don't think it's a bad sign at all. I think it's going to make the money.
Okay. Next question. Oh, that's not the one I wanted to show right now.
It was an awful movie.
William, who was Lloyd Kaufman playing in G3? He couldn't figure it out.
I don't know if I can. Can I tell you that?
No, the movie's been out for a week or two, so.
Let me see if I can tell you that or not. Technically, I'm still promoting the movie though.
Mm.
Let me text somebody real quick. Generally, when they send us stuff and do stuff, they don't like us to. What week is Guardians of the Galaxy in? When can I do a spoiler review? I see. It sucks because other YouTubers can do it like right as they see the movie, but if we're promoting it, I get like special instructions like on Mission Impossible. Like for some movies they don't care. They want to hear from us like right out of the theater. Like for Nope, they wanted to hear from us like immediately. But I remember for Spider-Man, what was it, Far From Home or No Way Home? We weren't allowed to talk about it till a week later or 2 weeks later because we saw it 2 weeks early. Let's see if I can talk about this. I just sent a text real quick. I'll get back to you on that. Who was that?
Larry okay, Chappie here's Chappie here with $9.99 super chat. Random question, but did you guys ever promote the David Harbour Hellboy movie, and why do you think it bombed at the box office? I personally feel it had to do with bad marketing or angry fans in general.
Yes, and it had to do with the fact that you restarted something that was still in the vicinity of being still popular. Ron Perlman's version was still popular, even though he says he couldn't play it anymore. It was still a popular version of that character, and even though the newer Hellboy was actually a little bit more true to the actual story, even though Magnolia's version was fleshed out in the Perlman version. People were going to reject that movie when we were promoting that. People were rejecting it just on the principle alone, and I thought it wasn't a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but I thought it was doomed at conceptual. All right, so yes, okay, so I can show you this. So hold on. I'm going to share screen real quick to answer a question here. Let's see. Come on. Here we go. All right, to answer the question, in case you missed him in his cameo, you had to. It was real quick, but come on, is it sharing? There we go. Up, that wasn't him. There you go. There's the scene he's in. I actually have the scene. We were. I don't know, Ray. Were you here when we watched this? We looked at the scene.
Actually, no. This is from Guardians of the. This is the first Guardians of the Galaxy. He's talking about for 3.
What's the new one? Here's the next one. Hold on, I got it here too. Because he's in the bar. Hold on. 3. Let me get it. Rhea, if you're in the chat, did he show you that scene on his phone? Is she in the chat?
She was.
Hold on. I had it pulled up, but it was a piece. Hold on, I'll bring it up. Let me go over here. I just don't want to get in trouble for showing the actual scene here. Hold on. Because it was real quick. I actually missed it the first time. Let's see. There's a certain. I'll answer the super chat real quick. I got that up there. Go ahead and bring that back up.
Hold on.
Hold on, I'm looking at this.
All right, there you go.
All right, Chappie, nice to see you again. Random question. But did you guys ever promote the day? Oh, yeah, that was. Okay, I did answer that. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, that movie was doomed on conception from the fact that it wasn't going to be the version that people knew and loved, and people loved Ron Perlman in that role. And I just thought, and plus, like I said, it wasn't a good movie. It wasn't David Harbour's fault, by the way. It just wasn't a good movie. Where is he? Hold on. Let's see. Trying to bring it up. I'll bring it up later. Because I missed it first time around. But yeah, he's in there. And he was talking to people when he was signing this. I was hooking up to projector. He's like, and that's why we thought
he plays a character called. He plays a character called Griddle Mop. I just can't find a good picture.
It's really quick, and we were making a joke because, we said the bucket list was to get everybody on this poster signature, and I was like, well, you can start with me. I'm in it. So we got like 10 of those signed by Lloyd Kaufman. Might want to give one away one of these days. All right, let's see.
All right, let's go back to some more questions.
Yeah, we'll bring that up.
All right,
but it's super quick.
Fourth wants to know where are the Fast X Corona print condoms.
Dude, maybe we need to ban Fourth.
But no,
maybe it's time to make Fourth 1000 disappear, where he gets us, where he gets not demonetized.
Do you think Gun Superman will be too heartfelt than testosterone brimming?
No, I think it'll be weird. I think it'll be and in between that. I think it's gonna. I think he'll build his characters like he builds, like he's always built his characters, to the point where you see dimensions of them that you're not necessarily used to seeing in a superhero, for better or for worse. Just imagine, I think he's a traditionalist, though, when it comes to Superman as far as the comics, because he's a comic collector. So it's going to be interesting to see that, because a lot of people, even though I love Zack Snyder's version of his character, and he does take him from Alex Ross and Mark Waid's version of the character, I think from what James Gunn is saying, he's going to go back even further than that as far as the traditionalism. I just hope he doesn't do a modern era Boy Scout, because I don't think that works in 2023, but he seems capable of doing it either way. But no, I don't think testosterone.
Larry says Seth Green was the new Howard the Duck in the Guardians movies, which is true. Seth Green voiced Howard. And then Chappie says, in a way, it makes me wish that James Gunn wrote and directed a Howard the Duck movie.
It would have been better.
And then he says,
he might. You know what? He might. Watch him do it. Watch him do it.
Well, I mean, I think that we're going to end up getting Howard the Duck eventually, because at least in Marvel, because we got Werewolf by Night, and we got Man-Thing, and Man-Thing and Howard always hang out in the comics. So
that's what made it so disappointing, because in the comic books it works so well.
Yeah.
In the comic books, Man-Thing and Howard the Duck and that nexus of all realities, it works so well. And then when you see that fucking awful movie, and you're like, what in the hell? I almost wanted Man-Thing to come in and just start touching people and watching them dissolve. I'm like,
Chappie wants to know, what offends you the most about Howard the Duck?
That it was a joke.
I think he's looking for specifically what part of that movie made you just cringe.
The bestiality, maybe. What do you want me to start? I'm like, I mean, the female boobs on a duck, the fact that a human being, I don't know, and the fact that it was just bad. It was just awful, you know. It was
All
just
right.
an awful. Oh
So
yeah, okay, you got good up on there. Ah yeah, because
RJ says, how many screenings of Flash are you hosting, William? Which ones are you opening up to public, and which are friends and customers?
all of them. It's just that the first one was so quickly. I had to fill it up. They told me 3 or 4. I don't know how many I'm gonna with volume of tickets that I'm gonna get for each one. Like for this one, because we got the notification as I was getting out of the vehicle on Friday, like literally as I'm turning my key to come into the store, I my our handler is calling us saying, because we had heard rumors about the 22nd because it was happening all over the West, like Film Junkies going to one, all that. And as soon as I started hearing that other people in certain regions were going, I knew we were gonna go. I just didn't know when. And then he called me up and said the 22nd, which is Monday. So I had to scramble and get when we have multiple ones, the first row of people I get are like our sponsors, our supporters, our main heavy, guys like that. We get them all in there. We take care of them because they take care of us throughout the year. And then if we know we're going to get multiple screenings, then we start doing promotions. Like for the very next one we get, you know, we're gonna open that one up to the general public. And I hope they give us Fandango tickets because like the Fandango tickets I can give away nationally. Like for Blade Runner and Justice League, when we did Fandango tickets, I was giving cards, but they had the code on them. So if I said, "Hey, Thade, you want to go to the Flash anywhere in the United States that has a theater," bam, I could just email you the code and I rip up that card. So I hope they do that. That'd be cool. So if they do Fandango tickets and screenings, that'd be great. But they told me between 2 and 4, 3 to 4. I don't know how many I'm going to have access to multiple, like that volume of tickets. Sometimes, we've gotten as little as 5 and as many as 200. But they really are pushing this movie and they know that I wanted to be involved in this campaign since like the day one because I knew how important this movie was, and same thing with Blade Runner. The Blade Runner is I was fighting people and saying, you know what, don't use those guys, don't split apart. Give me everything you have for Blade Runner, and trust me, I will promote this movie more than anybody combined, and I did. But yeah, bring his question back up because I want to answer it specifically. I think we're gonna have that many more screenings. The volume of tickets that we're gonna get and the swag we're gonna get is to be determined. So, are you coming to Vegas, RJ? Is that what you're telling me? If any of you watching this are planning on being in Vegas between now and the release of the movie, let me know, because I don't mind putting you on our list. So yeah. So the next ones to meet, like this one was friends, customers, and investors, and then the next ones are going to be a wide open. Like you'll actually see me doing a promotion, like promoting the Flash. We may show some movies out here. We've asked them if we could show, Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, if we could get the rights to show that because he's featured obviously heavy in that movie. We were going to do something special. We're working all that out right now, but they're pushing the hell out of this movie, so it's going to be a lot, man. I'm all there for it. Next one.
So, this one's for me. It says, Thade, who's your favorite Quizatotrak? I think I have an idea. Interested in your opinion. Why, if you're willing to expound? Are you meaning the actors that played Paul in the 3 different versions of Dune that we've gotten? Because if that's what you're asking, then I think that Timothy Chalamet has played probably the best because he looks the closest to the way the book describes him. The other 2 actors were far too old. Alec Newman and God, who was the one in
Kyle
Age? Kyle
McLaughlin.
McLaughlin. Yeah, they were both well into their 30s when they played Paul, and Paul's supposed to be 15 years old in the movie. So uh, I'd say Timothy Chalamet, if that's what you meant.
And he's one of the best actors in his generation.
And
he may be in movies that I don't want to see sometimes, but
he's probably one of the better actors. Characters in the book. If you're talking about characters in the book, Spider-Man, My favorite Kwisatz Haderach is the Duncan Idaho Gola, the final Duncan Idaho that became combined with the machine mind, Omnius. But that's that. And see, in order for me, it's the final Duncan Idaho Gola, the God Emperor, and then Paul. And the only reason I put Paul at the bottom, even though he was the first, is because Paul failed. The God Emperor did what he meant to do, and the final Duncan did what he was meant to do. So yeah, that's my opinion. Sorry, weird book question there.
Yeah, we
What
don't
do
read
you
here at the Sci-Fi Center. No, I'm just kidding.
what do you guys feel about Moana getting a live action remake? I really wish they'd stop making live action Disney animated movies.
They make money though, man. I mean, after Aladdin, you're not just that. Literally, the genie is out of the bottle.
And then his next question is also, since the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is coming out, how much money do you think that'll make? Since I also know the FNAF franchise is popular with children despite the more adult themes. Um, like most horror movies, that movie is probably getting made for rather cheaply, and so it's gonna more than make its returns. Um, however, that's gonna have a lot. No, maybe not, because that's gonna have a lot of special effects in it.
What's the budget on it?
Um, let me look. Hold on, I gotta drop some of these screens I have up. Uh, Five Nights at Freddy's budget. Its budget is $30 million.
Oh yeah,
Dude, it'll if it's just $30 million, it'll more than make its
yeah.
because
That's like a Blumhouse budget.
to putting it up next to a movie that's here recently that had a lot of effects in it, but is doing really well. Evil Dead Rise, they made it for like 20 million. It's already at well over 200 million now. So,
I still have to see that. Damn it.
dude, seriously, that movie is, dude, dude, carnage candy, bro, carnage candy. You like your 3Ds? You're gonna get them in that movie. The only
Yeah, I've
difference, I
heard.
mean, it's an Evil Dead movie. The only difference is it's in a high-rise apartment building instead of a cabin. Okay.
I gotta see that. I'm so behind when it comes to like I said, because the last couple of weeks has just been. Ugh.
Right. No, it's really good. Let's see here. Numbers says, why do people in studios bring up that confusion argument like treating the theater going audience are nothing more than just meat with eyes is the way to go?
All right, why do people? Don't understand the question. Do you understand the question, or am I missing the question?
I think he's asking why do studios make the argument? I don't know. Numbers, if you could re-ask this question and clean it
Yeah, I
up a
want
little
to
bit
answer
so
it
we can
correctly.
answer it. We want to answer it correctly, but we don't know what you're saying here. All right. So Larry says there's a new Hellboy coming, and Anthony answered him and said Jack Kesey will play Hellboy in The Crooked Man.
I think they need to hold off.
Yeah,
I
me too.
really think they need to hold off for a while because like I said, I just don't know if it's there.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I just don't know if the desire and the energy is there, especially this soon after you've already. If you're doing, it's like you're chasing your tail within a small box. You know, give it some
Yeah.
time.
So speaking on Evil Dead Rise just a little bit ago, Evil Dead Rise's budget. Its budget was okay. It's grossed well. Okay, so its production budget was 19 million, and it's made well over 136 million since it's
Yeah,
been
that's
out.
like Invisible Man. Like remember Invisible Man made it was done for 7 million, basically 7 to 9 million, and then it made way more than that. It made like Obviously they didn't have to do, it was an Invisible Man, so but they still had enough CGI effects in there.
Yeah.
Some production companies can get away with it, man. And
I will say though, Evil Dead Rise had a whole lot of like practical effects too, which is really good with a horror movie. With horror movies, you don't want a whole lot of CGI. So
yeah, unless it's space horror or something like that,
yeah. Okay, so number says, oh, this is the one I just put up that he hasn't questioned yet again. Okay, so Hal Jordan says William and Thade thoughts on Killers of the Flower Moon. That's the new Scorsese movie coming out. It looks good. I don't know a whole lot about it. I haven't educated myself on it yet, but from the stills I saw the other day, it looked really good.
I don't have an opinion yet. I will, but I don't have an opinion yet.
Hey Thade, I have a couple questions for you. What's a better bad movie watch with a group of friends, Troll 2 or Howard the Duck? Yeah, my review on this will be postponed until this next week. I had a death in the family this week, so that kind of threw off my schedule. A rather close death. I lost one of my sisters, so.
Oh wow, dude.
Yeah. Uh, it was a shock, and I'm still not quite over it. I'm still haven't really broke down on it yet. So, but she was 38 and in bad health. So, anyway, moving on. Yeah. So yeah, my review's a little postponed, but I will get to it this next week. Kavari says, "How will the writers' strike affect DC Studios announcing projects?"
They won't be able to.
Well, they did have an upfront this last week, like all the other streaming services did. And really, all that's going on stage to talk right now is executives. The actors are standing on the picket now with the writers. So, and SAG has voted to strike as well, SAG-AFTRA. So there's going to be a little bit of a situation there. Yeah, we could be we we could have issues for the next several months, which is not looking good for Hall H at SDCC. So
that's why I was saying we're talking Superman Legacy. I mean, that was what, September 2025 is when they announced before the strike. So you can go ahead, but we might be talking 2026 when it comes to that. All right, let's see, what do we got going on here? All right, so I'm gonna we're gonna take a quick intermission, and I'm going to do something that as we take on more sponsors and stuff like that, I have let's see if my video is logged. Yeah, we have sponsors that help us out with our events and just contribute in a lot of different ways. And one of them is we've had him out as a guest on this show, as a matter of fact. His name is Josh Coots, and he's got Rock Avenue, and he was one of our contributors. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to play this. Hey guys, I'm William from the Sci-Fi Center, your host tonight for Big Valley Wrestling's Bash at the Square. Hey guys, I'm William from the Sci-Fi. We should watch it anyway. Oh, good. Hold on. This is for the wrestling thing I put on the thing on the big screen. Hey guys, I'm William from the Sci-Fi Center, your host tonight for Big Valley Wrestling's Bash at the Square. One of the main reasons I wanted to bring you guys out here because I wanted. That's enough of that. Oh man, the other one won't play. Damn it! It was for Rock Avenue, but anyway, we'll do this. Check out Rock Avenue. Rock Avenue is 8 a.m. Oh no, hell no, don't do that. 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. every Sunday night. You can listen to it anywhere in the world, kunv.org, and download the app. Or if you're local here in Vegas, you can listen to it on 91.5. It is a cool show, post-punk, post-grunge, ska, all kinds of stuff. We've had him on the show before as a guest. And like I said, I made a really cool commercial that won't play. It automatically played that other one by default. That sucks. Oh, well. So we weren't going to take a quick break, but we can keep going.
All right. So Slade's movie, etc. here says, "Hi William, I made a fan edit of the Dark Knight Returns animated movie where I added sliding frames and I turned down the saturation of the color to make it feel more like the comic." Where can we
Cool.
find this? Where can we find this? Is this on your YouTube channel or drop us in the chat where we can find this. I'd like to look at this.
Yeah, I wonder if we can play it. Can we play it without any copyright issues?
Larry says, "Are you guys excited about the Dark creators doing the adaptation of Something's Killing the Children?" Yeah, I am.
I am. I just started reading the comic. Like I said, I did a. In fact, it's on my. Yeah, here you go. It's on my must read board. That you can't see it from here, but I have
And
a line comic.
if this one works, if the Something is Killing the Children adaptation works, I want to see an adaptation of A Nice House on the Lake because that story is freaky.
Basket Full of Heads or School of Skulls or whatever. They got a couple
Basket
of them.
Full of Skulls would be good too.
The covers of that one are insane. The covers of some of that stuff is insane. Question: when it comes to when it comes to DC and Marvel reboots and multiverses, why do people and studios bring up? Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, you're basically saying one of two things. You're saying that the storyteller that you're paying millions of dollars is an idiot, or you're saying your fans who you really want to come and see your stuff are idiots because they're going to be confused by something like that. Even though fans for decades upon decades have been reading these things, and trust me, it is much easier to flesh out a multiverse story if you do it right. I'm not saying what Marvel's doing is right, but if you do it right, it is much easier to flesh it out on screen than it is in comics. Trust me. The flow of a motion picture lends itself to be able to explain multiple storylines and multiple timelines and multiple realities. And if you could do it in comics, and they did, you can do it. You can do it in live action. So yeah, I don't know why people say that. Once again, it's like reboot. People add things to the conversation to make themselves sound smarter than they really are. Sometimes it happens. I do it too. But yeah, that's all it is.
William, which movie was worse, Howard the Duck or Flash Gordon from
1980?
1980?
Whoa, hold up. Flash Gordon is a classic. How dare you, Tim Anderson? How dare you put that god-awful movie, that wretched crisis of a cinematic non-achievement on the same sentence, in the same question, as a movie with one of the great soundtracks of all time? And with its budget, some of the greatest special effects for what it was supposed to be. You can ask me this question somewhere, wherever you're at in this world. You are laughing at me right now because you got me to read that. That can't be a serious question, Tim Anderson. Please tell me you're trolling. Go down and find out where he's trolling me. He's got to be trolling me. He could not have just asked me that question right now. My soul hurts for you, Tim Anderson. Something inside of me just died.
He says, "Sorry, William. My apologies."
Dude, the opening of Flash. Oh, that opening. And then you hear Max Bantito talking. So, what will it be today? And then you hear his minion say, I brought you something to play with, my lord. A planet called Earth. Let's play with this Earth. I mean, Max, his voice and Ming is perfect in that movie. I'm like, and it's cheesy as hell. Don't get me wrong. It is cheesy as hell, but in the best ways possible. Howard the Duck is horrible in the worst ways possible. Flash is a cult classic in the right way. Howard the Duck, like I said, read the story behind that. The directors and writers were beating each other up in fights because neither one of them wanted to take the blame for making that movie or getting greenlit. The people who made that disappeared. Dino De Laurentiis, DG, he made plenty of movies throughout the time. That dude, Flash is a classic. Dude, when Freddie Mercury died, November 24th, 1991, I played all his soundtracks. I just played them. And Flash and Highlander soundtracks back to back. There's something, I think it added years to my life listening to those back to back.
Especially the Highlander soundtrack.
Oh my God. The opening of Highlander where the Freebirds are coming out, the Kings, Princes of the Universe.
Uh-huh.
But Flash Gordon has the best opening because right after right after Ming does his little thing, you start hearing that bass. And when you see it and I saw it in the movie theaters in 1980, and we didn't have the Dolby and all that crazy stuff, but you could hear it thump, thump, bump, 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 bump. The opening song, I just wanted them to replay that before we even got to the movie. Dude, Flash Gordon's a classic, man. Tim was his name. Tim, wow, dude. You got me right here, man. Right in the lightning bolt. Man.
Okay, so next thing is Tony Chappie here says hot take, but I actually like the David Harbour Hellboy reboot. I appreciate how faithful it was to the comics, and to quote William, at least it wasn't Howard the Duck.
Yeah, and like I said, it wasn't a great film, but it wasn't very good. And when you're taking that kind of risk so soon after a beloved performance, it almost had to be more perfect than it had. It could be. It was in a tough spot.
Aaron Pritchard says, "Hey, William."
Hi, Aaron from Down Under.
And then she asked, "How was the Deadmau5 concert?"
I enjoyed it. I am not into progressive. I'm not into that type of music, but it was just really cool having. Listen. You're a star when people like me who are not into that scene know exactly who you are from just word of mouth. And he's huge. He's big. The guy's like, $250,000 a performance an hour or whatever he makes. And it was just cool to see that. And it was just cool to see people people having fun and people enjoying themselves. It was safe. No fights, no incidents. I thought it went well. I liked it. And Mike D from the Beastie Boys was out here too because he's a DJ.
Slade says he DM'd you a clip for the edit for what he was talking about earlier.
Okay, the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at this and see if this doesn't. If the screen goes blank, that means we violated. You have this up on your YouTube channel already? Let me see this real quick. Hold on. I'm going to mute myself, though. I don't know. I see what he did there. Okay, cool. Oh, okay. I see what he did. Yeah, I definitely can't play this right now, but. This is my favorite animated thing that DC has done, by the way. I see you book. What's that when you put the two? Did you put the black marks on there like that, or was those already there? Yeah, I'm looking. This is nice, dude. And the fact that they got Frank Miller and Klaus Janson to help out with the animation, I think, was even better. That's cool. We're one of these days we're gonna play it on our. We got to do Dark Knight again. When we did Sci-Fi 7%. Thank you for sending that, Slade. All right, who's next? Who's next to stab me in the soul?
Aaron Pritchard says, "How long do you reckon the actors will go on strike?"
I don't know. We were talking about this a month. How long has it gone on now?
It's been a month now. The last writer's strike in 2007, 2008 was 100 days. That was 100 days, and then the one before that was 150 days.
This is a horrible time for this to be happening too. This is a horrible time for certain companies. This is going to be very crippling. This is bad. There's no good time for a work stoppage, and this one is very, very important. This may, and I not being hyperbolic, this may be one of the most important strikes ever. Because of the era we're in with AI and streaming and revenues and everything else, this strike is addressing so many things that may set legal precedent going forward for all of us, not just actors and writers, all of us. What is an intellectual property versus the AI? Who has the rights to this stuff? There's so many questions that have to be answered. It could last longer than the last one. It sucks, but I understand. And like I said, I got people that we want to bring on the show that cannot do anything right now because of the strike, and I have to support them because I believe in what they're doing. So I have no good answer for you on that one, Aaron.
Well then, William, which is worse, Troll 2 or Howard the Duck?
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck, even though Troll 2 has that really creepy scene where the guy's like, "Oh my god!"
That's like Sleepaway Camp, that kind of.
Dude, let's not talk about the end of Sleepaway Camp.
Sleepaway Camp is a classic, but does that last does that ruin the movie? So no, I would say Howard the Duck.
William and Thade.
We need to find Howard the Duck creators and bring them on the show.
I wasn't happy with Jamie Foxx being cast for Spawn, but recent events have shifted my willingness to see what he can do. That said, who else do you think would be a good pick to play Spawn?
Oh, Michael J. White again. He's not too old to play him again.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors, if he can unscrew himself. Jonathan Boyega.
John Boyega, I could see it. Jonathan
Yahya
Majors.
Mateen.
Yahya Mateen. Jonathan Majors may have some issues going forward. From what I hear, he's up on several. He's up on several assault charges. So.
And they seem to be sticking a lot longer than his lawyer did.
Yeah. Okay, so Larry Cordowitz says, I really hope Jamie Foxx can still do Spawn considering the health issues. Yeah, because he's still currently laying in a hospital bed right now.
He's recovering, so I don't know all the issues, but yeah.
Shogun Orta says, do we know if any deals have been made at all regarding? None, not at all. Nothing.
I've heard of.
At this point, nothing has been offered. So, and now SAG-AFTRA just voted to go on strike as well. Plus, we have the directors coming up. So,
which may be like a nuclear option to where the studios are like, okay, this is not getting better.
Yeah. Fourth 1000, the $5 super chat says, what if the writer's strike does something good for creativity, like destabilizing the industry in a new renaissance of filmmaking akin to the 70s? That would be great, but it won't.
And I understand why you would ask that question, but the problem is you have so much revenue and investment tied up into the status quo. What happened in the 70s is the movie industry bottomed out. There was no investment happening. You know, it was like the Wild West to a certain point. Now it's like having surgery happen and then all your doctors decide, you know what, I'm going on break. It's just not the time for this, you know. The 70s was, in my opinion, movie making. If you look at the way movies were being made, and a lot of movies were being made overseas, it just wasn't the same thing. And there's a lot more money on the line per capita than there is back then. But I don't think it would lead to a renaissance. I think it would lead to ruin because of COVID, because the industry itself went through so much damage with COVID that I think I think a lot of people that are connected to all these forms of entertainment are just barely hanging on, and their profit margins were low to begin with. So I don't know if renaissance is the word. I think ruin might be the word. So let's hope it gets fixed sooner than later. But thank you for the $5 super chat. Point Extra Lounge appreciates your patronage. Blaxploitation. Blaxploitation era. Blaxploitation era saved it. Italian movies getting imported made it, because remember they imported a lot of Italian movies that didn't have to pay for. James Fonda's not Spawn. He wanted that. Yeah. McFarlane said he didn't need him. Spawn was barely featured in the script, only in D. Yeah, Todd McFarlane, I love the guy, but he's gonna have to step back and let a filmmaker make the movie, or else Spawn's never gonna happen.
True. Let's see. Alastair says, which historical moment from Warhammer do you guys like to see be made into a movie or show? For me, okay, so this is
all you, because I know nothing about Warhammer.
For me, and now this is going to be painful to do, but I would love to see the Horus Heresy, the whole rebellion from half of the Primarchs and their legions. But that's gonna be a television show and a half. I wouldn't mind seeing the fall of Cadia. That would be cool. But not to dwell too much on this because I could talk about this for hours. But those are a couple of different ideas I have. Aaron Pritchard says, do you think the studios are now using the writers and actors strike as an excuse to purge some of their TV shows and content?
No, they're doing it before.
Yeah, well, they were already doing it before, but that has also been one of the things that the writers have noted that they believe was why a lot of shows got purged after a couple of seasons.
Well, because you have the residual contracts, and that
Yeah.
is what's going to have to be worked out now. Because otherwise, if you do a movie, you put your work into it, and you should be paid while it's on the streaming service. You're going to have to collectively bargain how long you get paid and all that. Because right now, they'll just take your movie off the service, and then you don't get paid, and that's a big bone of contention. But I could see that on the other side too. If you have a bloated library and you can't pay everybody, that's a number one rule in business. Is not you can't have 20 people if you can only afford 4. You got to live within your overhead.
Numbers says, wouldn't John Boyega make for a better fit for Just Chapel? And yeah, possibly.
It depends on who ends up making the movies and what kind of spawn that they give us. But I could go either way with that.
Do you think possibly purgeable movies content might go to the streaming instead, which would be good for streaming, I think? Okay, so what they're doing with a lot of the things that are getting purged from these streaming services, they drop them down to the free services like Tubi, Pluto, stuff like that, and so they can shift content around, and they also not only do they get money for licensing certain things to other streamers, but they also make money on the new stuff they put on the streaming service. So,
but once again, even the writers want some of that cheese too.
yeah, and that's the thing. Well, that's the thing though. They deserve it.
Yeah.
But it's like Stella said last weekend when we were doing the show. You can't go like they used to in the old days anymore. You have to make allowance for streaming, and the streamers right now are too, how do I put this, greedy to want to pay the way that they used to pay for television.
Yeah, and it was a different revenue structure too. You had different ad revenue. You could see the thing about television, and that's why you see these shows that are so much shorter in length instead of 12. I mean, instead of 20 episodes, you get 12, is because you have a different framework of ad revenue when it comes to television. I mean, you had ad revenue coming from so many different directions, and especially like in syndication. That's why it was so lucrative. Big Bang Theory makes a ton of money. A lot of that is driven by ad revenue because a lot of people watch those repeats. With streaming, you don't necessarily have, you don't necessarily have that structure in place. It's subscriber based. So, yeah, it's a tough one. Like I said, this is a very important strike. All right.
Okay, so Fourth says, I guess a collapse is what I mean. The industry is too corporate. Every movie needs some ridiculous box office number. I gladly trade IP filmmaking for creative new films.
That's okay. There's no money to back that. I would love that too. But here's the thing about the streamers. The only way some of these indie movies are going to get made is on a streamer. So you're kind of like, it's all symbiotic. It's all connected.
And Fourth, if you want to watch new creative films, go watch A24.
Which is still a corporate studio. You see what I mean? It's still, in order to take the risk and for these things to make, they either need to be on a streaming that already has a pre-paid structure, or they have to justify a budget getting made. So you figured, and that's why it's so hard. And we were talking to Lloyd last week. It's so hard for independent movies is because without that corporate backing, it's really hard to get distribution. Distribution is the key thing. That's why when we were talking to the Sinister Minister that one time, getting on all those things, getting distributed and getting on a platform, it's really hard. And in order for those platforms to survive, it is these corporations, the evil corporations, it's their money. The independent people don't have the money. Outside of Trauma, which even still is a shoestring budget, don't have the money to sustain themselves. So you can't really have a renaissance of independent films per se that will get anywhere without the corporate structure behind it. Because you still need somebody to get it out there to the masses, unless you just want to do YouTube. But then again, you're just working for free.
Okay, so Chappie says, William, did you ever see Jaws: The Revenge?
Yeah, it was stupid. I paid to see
movie.
Jaws: The Revenge.
Horrible movie.
Pretty much every Jaws after Jaws sucked. Jaws in 3D, I didn't realize how bad a movie that was because it was in 3D. But the 3D, and John, we were making fun of this on the Point Lecture Lounge a year ago. Remember that when we were watching the shark come out?
Yeah.
And the shark just stops like this. It's a horrible 3D. And that was released the same year that Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D, one of the best 3D horror movies of all time with low tech 3D at the time. It was still wonderful. Yeah, that movie sucked.
Okay. Okay, Williams. So, which is worst, Howard the Duck or 97's The Pest with Leguizamo?
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck is going to be his lowest common denominator, guys.
It's Howard. As far as Marvel movies, it's Howard the Duck is the bottom, is the floor. Then Thor. Thor is the wooden floor that goes above Howard the Duck. The Thor movies. But they're not. There's a big gap in between them. The problem with Howard the Duck is it was not just bad, it was ill thought out bad for that era. You got to realize that even the junk B movies that were coming out that were copying everything else, that had half the thought, half the resources, and did not have Lucas behind them. That's a Lucas film. Say that to yourselves. Wherever you guys are sitting that keep asking me these questions or why Howard the Duck was so bad. That was a Lucas film. The same guy who bought you all this magic and all this gadgetry and all this historical trends, that studio gave you Howard the Duck. A movie so bad that people literally disappeared. Go find me, beyond Leah Thompson, go find me anybody who worked on that movie. All right? You may have seen them somewhere bagging your groceries, or when you opened the door and they gave you your pizza. That's how bad that movie. Those people went into obscurity after that movie.
Actually, the guy who played the guy who played the scientist that turned into the big bug thing, he played the dad in Beetlejuice after Howard the Duck.
Oh yeah, he played in a bunch of stuff. Yeah, you're right. But like I'm talking about the people who actually worked on the movie. Those people literally are you'll find Jimmy Hoffa before you find any of those people working on anything. And I'm talking like immediately afterwards. They literally left the country. I mean, he disappeared. That's how bad that movie was. So, guys, yeah, you can keep throwing that at me. I doubt you're gonna throw one at me that says, "Oh shit, that's okay. That's worse than Howard the Duck." I doubt it, but you can try.
Okay, so Alastair says, "Do you guys want to see dinosaur movies go into the scientifically accurate route, where not only the dinos looking like what they were proposed to look like, or in real life, and be animals?" Well, true. I mean, a good warm-blooded dinosaur movie would be nice, but I guess
Listen, dude, my standards are low. Chaka and Land of the Lost and the Sleestaks was where I said, "Hey, am I ever going to see anything better than this?" And then I got Jurassic Park, so my standards are low. I don't need to see them with the feathers and all that stuff. Nah. And I hope they never clone dinosaurs and bring them back because that's going to be a mess.
They're already working on the cloned mammoths.
Yeah, and that's going to be great.
Fourth says, "Well, yes, even indie films need corporate backing like Miramax or Dimension. Sony Classics. The 90s was a great model." Kind of.
The 90s was a great model for that type of stuff in music. Unfortunately, times have changed to the point where digital has shaken the core of everything. So it's a different world, and we can't do the 90s again. I wish we could, because from 1993 to 1998, the best 5 years of music of my life. You will never find a 5-year period that was better than that. All right, but I digress.
Aaron says, "I didn't know that the directors were thinking about going on strike too. What about the producers?" Now that's where you're getting into corporate and producers.
They're the strikees. They're the strike targets almost.
They're the producers are the targets for the strike, to be honest. Them and the corporate heads.
Yeah, because a lot of times the producers have a lot to do with the financial structure by virtue of them being the production. So yeah, I don't think you'll see them. But hey, anything can happen. All right, next one.
Okay.
You got them started. Okay.
William, you are you a fan? You being a fan of horror movies, did you like From Beyond or Event Horizon?
From Beyond's a classic. Event Horizon is one of the worst big budget science fiction horror movies I've ever seen in my life.
Dude,
that was much potential. So much potential.
I liked it, but I liked it, but the problem.
ugh.
The problem with that movie is there was too much, and we've said this 100 times before. There was too much studio involvement with that movie. Somewhere the full version of that movie is lurking, and it's a really good movie. Because what the director really wanted to do with that movie, the studio screwed him so hard on.
Yeah, I just think the premise was, it was like I was watching The Shining in space with a black hole.
That's kind of what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a black hole; it was a wormhole. But that's
Oh, I'm
beside the point.
sorry. Okay. Oh, let's make sure we go back and edit that out. Next one. Yeah, but no, From Beyond's a classic, in my opinion. No more Warhammer questions. I don't know anything about Warhammer.
Okay. Um, I am determined to have you admit one of these days that there's something worse than Howard the Duck, even if I have to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
You literally are under the barrel with Howard the Duck. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's something out here, and you may, like I said, keep throwing them at me. But I mean,
William.
Where's my car? Is almost there.
Yeah, that's a
It's
horrible
almost
movie.
there. Like if Howard the Duck didn't exist, Dude Where's My Car may. But you know what? Even see, whereas Howard the Duck has no redeeming qualities, none. Dude, Where's My Car gave me Jennifer Gardner. That gave her start. And guess what? She turned out to be great. She's one of my favorite actresses. So there you go. William, funny
Okay.
enough, the executive that pushed to get Howard the Duck made, and after it bombed, he denied having any involvement with the movie. And other executives, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. It got into a fist fight over that movie. That's how no one would. It's like somebody farted and said, "Ooh, that wasn't me. That was you." And there's only like 3 of you in the room. It doesn't matter. That's what Howard the Duck was. It was literally a fart no one wanted to claim.
But really, William, Howard the Duck is worse than Catwoman or the Justice League.
Catwoman wasn't a bad movie. It was a bad Catwoman movie. That's two different things. Justice League, listen, we all hate that movie for what it did and what it meant, right?
Yeah.
But it at least gave the outside population, the outside geek population, something to see. They don't hate that movie as much as we do. They weren't drawn to it as they would have been with the original movie. But if you don't have Justice League released in the theaters, Aquaman is not the success that it turned out to be. A lot of those movies, a lot of those characters got exposure and got propelled into other things. So Justice League is obviously for us, it has very little redemption, but it does have redeeming qualities because that was the version that the general public saw and the MILFs saw that they wanted more Jason Momoa without his shirt on. So there you go.
Okay. And Vincent says worse than Battlefield Earth.
Yeah. Battlefield Earth was just it is just an ill thought out movie that just I just thought was going to fail because it was just no one knew L. Ron Herbert. You weren't going to get anybody to go see that movie. John Travolta wasn't bad in it though. I don't know why he took the role, but he wasn't awful. That wasn't. I let that movie like Independence Day Resurgence, which is one of the worst movies ever made. Not because it was a horrible thing to look at. It kind of was, but because of it gave me chills about Blade Runner because I'm like, dude, I waited 20 years to see Independence Day Part 2, and it sucked backwards. Is Blade Runner going to be like this? And then Blade Runner came out and it was great. So
Okay, so to answer this really quick, Lester, the concept of where they went in where the drive took them is based on the warp in Warhammer 40K, but that's as close as it being a part of Warhammer 40K as that is. It's based on some concepts from Warhammer, not in Warhammer. Larry says, wasn't Event Horizon supposed to be a Hellraiser type movie originally? Yes. In fact, there was a scene that's only hinted at in the movie that you don't get the full scene on, but there was supposed to be an extended torture scene from the previous crew of the ship that would have been really, really bad and probably gained the movie an X rating.
ugh, no comment.
Rhea Williams, say Tommy Wiseau is going on tour for the room screenings again. Would you host or attend one of with him there? Also, what questions would you ask him?
Why did you make this movie?
Yeah, seriously, what's the deal behind that movie?
We've done those here. He has come out here. He was at the Palms, and we did do a screening with him, and that was one of the questions that was asked. Yeah, he'll be in Vegas. I'm pretty sure whenever they do that, the same guy who handles all my movies and gets us our screenings, he actually bought us tickets to that. To he actually purchased tickets for us to go to that. There you go. That's my question for him. Sorry, why did you make this movie? What was the point? He got that question over and over again. And he actually had answers for it too. So hey, the dude got a lot of mileage off of that movie and the Disaster Artist and all that. So, all right, next.
Okay. Master of the Universe was just as bad as Howard the Duck.
No, it was not.
No,
it was not. Frank Langella was great in that. As great as he could be. Meg Foster was Evil Lynch. She's perfect in that. The movie was kind of weak, but it was a weak concept. What were you getting out of He-Man? At least Howard the Duck had a very intricate storyline. Like I said, the nexus of all realities. He was so connected. He wasn't a joke in the story that he was a part of. Masters of the Universe, come on. I mean, it was kind of silly to begin with. The fact that they even made a live action movie of that at all and made it work, even the slightest, was actually an accomplishment in itself. Frank Langella was great. Dolph Lundgren was cool. Now Wildor, useless character. Should have just gave me Ortho, but yeah, or Ochre. No, it's not worse than Howard the Duck. Nice try, fun today.
Y'all hear the urban legend that there was a 4-hour cut of that nightmarish 30-second torture? I mentioned that a minute ago, and it was not 4 hours long, but it was 30 minutes long. And no, I don't think anybody, even people who loved Hellraiser, could have gone through that scene the way they describe it.
Hellraiser is tough to watch, by the way, especially when the hooks and ripping people apart.
Not so rough for me, but that's because I'm crazy.
But anyway. we had Doug Bradley out here, and the same thing we did for Lloyd Kaufman, we did for Hellraiser 3.
Oh, that's
we
cool.
Sat and but it took us forever to get through the movie because unlike with Lloyd, Lloyd would just talk to Avengers. Doug stopped the movie. I gave him the remote to control it, and he stopped. It took us 3 hours to get to an hour and a half.
And he would stop and explain things, wouldn't he? Yeah. I've seen him do that before at a horror con.
Yeah, so
I met Doug Bradley down here in Texas in about 2003 at a place called Scream Halloween Theme Park.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was down there the same night that he was there. Ooh. It's Doug. Yep.
Happy birthday to us. We were both born on September 7th, 20 years apart.
The same night that I met Doug Bradley, I met Robert Englund. Two of the guys who played Jason, including Kane Hodder, and Brad Dourif, all on the same day. On the same day at that place.
Yeah, he comes here all the time.
And I actually ran into Doug Bradley an hour before he was supposed to be at the park, because I ran into him at the convenience store up the road.
Yeah, we brought him out. We brought him out here. It was his first time to Vegas. Now he's been out here a couple of times. All right, next one.
Hold on, let me grab a couple more here. All right, here we go. Alastair, if each version of Cthulhu were put in one movie around and made it to fight each other, which iteration of Cthulhu would win? I'd have to say the original. The Lovecraft's Cthulhu, because he's the only one that did him right.
Pass. The hell? Where are you guys coming up with these questions? Right?
Ray is like, oh my God, William, if you host another room event, she wants to go.
Damn, girl, you're gonna be. You might as well go ahead and move out here. I'll keep you posted.
William, interview Neil Breen. He's in Vegas and follows me on Twitter.
Okay, let me email myself that. I'll bring anybody on. All right, cool, got it.
Reyes says, William, what's worse, Howard the Duck or getting a burger with no patty?
I can fix the burger with no patty, because tell you what, I don't care who you are or where you're at. If you gave me a burger without meat, we're going to resolve that issue. I never got my money back for Howard the Duck. when she's referring to when the clown from Jack in the Box made me a burger without meat and then accused me of eating the meat, coming down from my second story apartment, walking out, going around the front, going down on West Charleston Boulevard at the time to come into them just as they were closing, just to get another patty of meat because I ate it cleanly. I got a coupon. I got meat, and Chick-fil-A's done that to me too. Chick-fil-A forgot the chicken in my chicken sandwich. But when I went back there, I took care of that. They gave me a bucket load of those waffle fries. Oh my goodness. And another sandwich with a huge, bigger than they usually give, and then a coupon for another one. They took care of me. When it's been 30 some odd years since I've seen Howard the Duck in the theaters. I have not been taken care of. Right? Nobody has fixed that for me. So, no. One thing can be resolved. One thing will never be resolved.
Alastair says, also speaking of Masters of the Universe, who would win in a fight between He-Man and Lion-O from Thundercats, in your opinion?
He-Man.
He-Man.
That's easy. And then the cat, he just stick his cat. It'd be cat on cat violence.
Dude, I would love to see a fight, though, between Skeletor and Mumra. That'd be a cool fight.
Yeah, it would be a magical sorcerer fight, but yeah, it'd be cool. See Skeletor do his little goofy run away when he runs away.
Ooh, Skeletor, Mumra, and Thulsa Doom from Conan fighting.
Well, Thulsa Doom just had mind control over his horrors. That's not a power.
Dude, he could turn into a snake.
Oh, snake! You don't have any arms and legs now. Okay, yeah.
Thundercat soundtrack beats He-Man anytime. That soundtrack is so epic.
Okay, I never really. I mean, other than Transformers, I really never paid it. And Wheeled Warriors, Jace and the Wheeled Warriors has a kick-ass song that they play on the outro called "Keep On Rolling." Google it for the '80s and for what they spent on cartoons. It was a kick-ass song. Jason the Wheel Warriors. It's a song called Keep On Roll. It was cool. And I'm like, dude, this is a cartoon that they showed early in the morning. Kind of cool, man.
By the way, when are we going to get that Howard the Duck live stream commentary?
You know who really needs to do the commentary? We need to hunt the people down who made the movie and let them talk about it. They got a lot of explaining to do. Yeah, hey, let's get Lucas. His name's on it. I wonder if those guys even go by their real names now.
What are your guys' opinions on Genndy Tartakovsky's recent animated shows Primal and Unicorn Warriors Eternal? I don't know either one of those shows, so I couldn't really tell you.
Neither do I. Uh-oh. Struck out on one completely. At least the Warhammer one you could answer.
All right, that's all of our questions at the moment.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no more Howard the Duck. You guys are not going to win this, all right? You're not going to. Even movies today that lose tons of money, there aren't bad movies. Like they're like the Suicide Squad, right? James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. They lost $21 million, but it's considered a decent movie. Because there's a lot of circumstances today that could cost you a lot of money. Pandemic, all kinds of stuff. But that movie got released when in the 80s, for most of you were not around. We needed stuff to do on the weekends and sometimes during the weekdays. We went to the movies a lot in the 80s. Sometimes you would go 2 to 3 times a week. So you had a built-in audience for some of the dumbest movies out there. And Howard the Duck it bombed amongst that atmosphere. All right. In a string of years that bought you Night of the Comet, which is basically a movie that they cleared out of town in a mall to make in for no money. You got Howard the Duck, which was by that time a big budget movie. For its era and what it was, that's actually considered a big budget movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you're not gonna. I mean, what I could give you the whole hour to come up with something. I doubt, and I'm not just going to say it because no, I'm not. I'll think about it, and I'll be like, no. I've had years to think about this. I've had years to think about this, and yeah, I've seen some really dumb movies. There's a movie called Fear City, with Billy D. Williams in it. I have extra reason to hate that movie because this is when I got outvoted. We have a family of 4, and I got outvoted 3-1 because my mom like Billy D. Williams. All right, Billy D. Williams. You like Billy D. Williams? He's Lando. I'm like, well, this isn't Lando. He's playing a dumb cop. So we had our choices to see Fear City, which is basically a C movie that I could have watched for free. We paid to go see that, and guess what I wanted to see that came out that year? Witness, which would see Harrison Ford, the other Star Wars actor that was actually doing something, get nominated for an Academy Award with Danny Glover. The movie was great. I got to see that on a small screen because we got to see Fear City. And I said, this movie's stupid. This movie looks stupid. It sounds stupid. This is like 11-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old me telling my family that we're about to waste a lot of money. No one listened to me. Guess what they said after the movie? It was stupid. And even that movie was more redeemable than Howard the Duck. Right? So I've had years to think about this. Every dumb movie that's come out since then, I'm like, how awful is this movie? Well, at least it wasn't Howard the Duck. So yeah, you're just gonna. It's probably not gonna be another movie like that. Larry Kukowski has a $5 super chat already. All right, go ahead. I see you highlighting them now. I didn't notice you doing that before. I never paid attention. Look at that. All right. Why, Vince? Why do you have any? You have an extra Blu-ray copy. That means you had one to begin with. Why? What told you? What voice in your head said buy multiples of that? Why? One's not good enough. One's not good enough. I need multiple ones. All right, right. Wow, late night parade. Whoa, holy mackerel! She's going out to the disco. That's why. She missed Dead Mouse, so she's got to go out to the disco. All right, Primal is definitely a badass. There's no dialogue. I recommend it. Okay.
And that's again, thank you for the $5.
Thank you for the super chat. Yeah.
So William, are you saying that Adam Sandler's Jack and Jill is way better than Howard the Duck?
Not by yards, but okay. Yeah.
William, how grossed out were you when you saw that scene in Howard the Duck when he was involved in relations with a human woman?
Pretty grossed out, man.
Look, Leah Thompson's a freak. First in one movie, it's her son, and the next movie, it's a duck.
I'm still getting over the fact that Miss Piggy and Kermit were, for all intents and purposes, in a relationship. That if you follow relationships as they go, lead to intercourse. What's the baby going to look like?
Froggy course.
I've seen memes and stuff where the baby's all mutated with a snout, but you have to explain.
Chappie here with a $1.99 super chat says Fan Stick 2015 or Howard the Duck. Howard.
That's not even close. Yeah, Howard the Duck's horrible. Fantastic was not a very good movie. I'll give you that. But yeah. And who was it that put Howard the Duck in the same sentence as oh man, that hurt. I'm still in pain over that one. All right. Did we chase that guy off? I didn't mean to offend you. The one guy at the beginning of the stream.
No, he's still here. He's lurking.
Okay. Yeah, I just can't believe you did that, man. That. Wow. Dude, Flash Gordon. We need to do a Flash Gordon show. Just how. It's cheesy. I understand, but it was 1980. Dude, when I saw Flash Gordon in the magazine, there was a Dynamite magazine that came out then that had a full poster of everything. It had the blimp ship. It had the Hawkman. It was huge. It was like, I found that online somewhere, and I'm going to get it for the store and frame it. it was 1980, and the world to me looked so much different in 1980. The slightest thing could just set me off and be like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever seen." And that was the way it was with Flash Gordon. And it was the first time that I had heard Queen, that I recognized Queen. I had heard, all the other songs, right? But
Yeah.
I never really. I was too. I was only 6.
He says
So
he says he's still here.
yeah, yeah.
Big smiley face.
But I was 6 years old. Just imagine hearing Queen at 6 years old, and then having all that color and all that wonderment as a 6-year-old. That movie is like, I could watch that today. I could sing along to that movie.
I actually just saw that movie a week or so ago.
Oh, Flash Gordon, and like I said, it gets its hits because you look at it now, you're like, oh my goodness. But I guess if you weren't from that generation and you were to watch it for the day, you would destroy the movie.
Ming the Merciless.
Yeah, but look who played him though.
And Max von Sydow.
I mean, one of the great actors of all time. Of all time, Max von Sydow. I mean, this is Let's see, how much did they spend on that movie? Okay, it was a bomb, but that was a big budget back then. It was 20 to 27 million, and it only made 46 million, but it's made more, and it's become a huge cult classic. It probably did more in VHS at the time.
Reyes says the Highlander Queen soundtrack is based. He's good, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alastair says, you guys think we should have more movies based on the lives of beloved bands similar to the movie Bohemian Rhapsody?
No, as few as possible. Some of that stuff, be honest with you, they see bands to me are, I know everything I want to know about a band through their music in most cases. Like, I don't need a Metallica movie. I understand what Metallica was saying to me when they wrote their songs. And there may be some things that you never can really portray. Like in Bohemian Rhapsody, that movie was BS. It was good, and Rami Malek is good in it, but it's a BS movie. That's not how they came up with some of that stuff. So and if you're not going to be 100% accurate, then I can watch behind the music. You know what I mean? I can watch a documentary. I would rather watch a documentary on Pink Floyd than ever see a movie about Pink Floyd. This is me. What do you think about that one?
Same. Sorry, I had to stand up a minute. My back's starting to hurt sitting in that computer chair.
Too. Yeah. Do stretches for old people? Let's see. Sam Joy's voice was dubbed. Was it dubbed over in Flash Gordon? Was it dubbed? I never really asked myself that question.
Numbers wants to know, movie 43 or Howard the Duck? Movie 43 is still better than Howard the Duck.
I haven't seen movie 43, so there you go.
Young Thade liked Howard the Duck. Older Thade realizes Howard the Duck for what it is.
Yeah, we're the same age, and I'm like, no. Yeah, Sam Joyce had a disagreement with Dino De Laurentiis of some kind and departed prior to post-production, which resulted in a substantial portion of his dialogue being dubbed by a professional voice and dramatic Peter Meriker, whose identity was long considered unknown, even to Jones. A sequel was proposed, but the departure of Jones effectively ended such prospects. Wow, that movie bombed, and they were still gonna get it. Actually, it made a profit, but not a lot. The airfield scene at the beginning of the film, although set in the U.S., was shot in Scotland. Okay, soundtrack. The soundtrack was is the 9th solo studio album by the British rock. It's literally their album, released in December 8th, 1980. Dude, wasn't John Lennon killed that day?
I think so.
Wow. The Queen sound, was that 80 or 81?
Wait a minute. No, I think he died in 81.
No, whoa, no, 1980. Ooh, that's creepy. That's creepy. The Queen soundtrack was released. It was Monday. I remember that was a Monday.
Yeah, no, Monday. You're right. It was released on the same day. Wow.
That's a degree of separation I could have done without ever knowing.
Wow, that's eerie. Okay, so we've got let's see. Who would win in a fight between Howard the Duck, Daffy Duck, or Donald Duck? Daffy would kick both their asses.
Well, Donald was a sailor, so he had military training. So,
Yeah, but Daffy's got that retard strength, man.
well, plus he's indestructible too. He gets shot point blank with a shotgun and just loses his beak. His bill
Yeah.
would just flip around.
Okay, we got fourth 1,000 with a $5 super chat. It says Bohemian Rhapsody is about
Yep,
as accurate as Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Yeah.
exactly right. That is what.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay, I'm offended by this question.
Uh-oh.
Freddy Got Fingered is a great movie.
It's disturbing, but I mean, the disturbing thing in that is not there's no bestiality.
The disturbing thing in Freddy Got Fingered was Tom himself, Tom Green. I'm the backwards man. I'm the backwards man.
Dude, there's 18 tracks on Flash Gordon's soundtrack. Holy mackerel! That was and then there
I'm
was
the
a
backwards
bonus
man.
disc.
I'm the backwards man. Anyway, sorry.
Man, that dude, the Flash Gordon soundtrack and then Flash's theme. That's the one that opens up. Oh my goodness, Flash! He saves every one of us. Freddie Mercury was the greatest vocalist to ever breathe.
Freddy's Dead or Howard the Duck? I'd still watch Freddy's Dead over Howard the Duck.
Yeah, one is stupid and one's horrible. So there you go.
Where's the sausage drop when you need it? Daddy, do you want some sausage from Freddy Got Fingered?
Oh no. I don't. Yeah, those me. When Enosh comes back and starts doing those gross things with the guy in the food throwing the food all over himself and everything. Oh well.
Aaron knows. Aaron knows what I'm talking about. Daddy, would you like some sausage?
And I'm hearing it in an Australian accent now that she said it.
Oh Lord. uh, Brian Blessed as Hawkman was fun. Yes.
Yeah, all that red makeup he was
Dude,
wearing.
dude, anything that Brian Blessed's in is fucking amazing, including when he played the Gungan in Star Wars.
Oh wow, yeah.
Brian Blessed was
Yeah.
Boss Nass.
The only one of the prequel movies I didn't like. But even
Let's
it
be
had, I
serious
mean,
right now. Howard the Duck does have a good soundtrack. It has a great soundtrack. It's just a horrible movie.
what? But no, it doesn't. What? Hold on. Howard the Duck literally had Howard the Duck. That was the soundtrack. And Leah
Dude,
Thompson singing that awful slow song. If the world gets oh, oh hold
who
on.
would win in a fight between Howard the Duck and the DuckTales gang outside of Donald, since it's already been mentioned? The nephews would kill Howard.
Oh, hold on. Let's see. Oh, let's go with the soundtrack of this one. Soundtrack. The film score was written by John Barry. That's unfortunate for him. Oh my God. They actually Lullaby of Duckland. Disco Duckland. Howard to the oh my goodness. This was an awful. I remember these. And then Leah Thompson was singing some of this stuff. Oh my goodness. And I can't even play some of this because it would get us a copyright strike. And wouldn't that suck to get a copyright strike for one of the worst things you could ever hear? Oh, okay. Next. You guys need to stop.
Right. We've got fourth 1,000 here with a $5 super chat. Thank you, fourth. Daffy Duck is DC's Howard. He was in a comic book with Joker.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
because Warner Brothers owns both characters. So
yeah. Uh, Reyes says the Garbage Pail Kids movie was worse than Howard the Duck. No, no, still, no.
Garbage Pail Kids. I mean, that was coming from a hopeless concept, so that wasn't too bad. Like I said, Howard the Duck. I don't know, dude.
Rip Torn was absolutely hilarious as the dad in Freddy Got Fingered. Yes, he was. He was freaking
Rip Torn,
amazingly hilarious.
Beastmaster fame. Woo.
And, and Larry, of course, with another line from the movie, I bought you jewels. Remember when he runs up on the helicopter and
Yeah.
gives the girl the jewels?
Oh my goodness. We're bringing up some awful movies to the brain, trying to defend the Duck. We're like sifting through some of the worst movies ever made to try to find out if one is as bad as Howard the Duck, and I don't know if it can be done.
Rip Torn is always great. We're not hosting an intergalactic kegger here. Z.
His name is cool.
Yeah.
Before and after Rip Torn.
So Long Ducky is my favorite.
At least Leah Thompson's career recovered after that. I mean,
And speaking of Freddy's Dead, I think the kind of nightmare Freddy would conjure up for Howard is making him into fried and cooked duck on a stick. No, Freddy would serve him eggs on the repeat. Because remember, he freaked out about the eggs in the movie.
By the time we got to Freddy's Dead, with Freddy, it was after the first two movies, after the first three, Dream Warriors, it just kind of fell off. It became a joke.
Dude, that Rennie Harlan, the fourth movie, oh my god, it's so horrible.
Yeah, and then they had his own show, which was kind of entertaining, but
dude, the Freddy's Nightmare show was interesting, but it's because the episodes were even more out there than Tales from the Crypt, which is saying something.
Remember Friday the 13th had a show, and it was nothing about Friday the 13th. But
what it was about the curio shop, the cursed items in the curio shop.
Stuff. Yeah, it's kind of
the best part about that show was Roby. Okay, the chick.
Yeah, remember the War of the Worlds show? That was actually a great show. It lasted longer.
At one time, there was a Nightmare on Elm Street show, Freddy's Nightmares. There was a show called Poltergeist: The Legacy, and there was a show called, there was the Friday the 13th show.
TV series, yeah, it was all in 1988. It was all in the late 80s.
Yeah. Do you remember the show Werewolf?
Yeah, it lasted literally as long as the commercial break did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was on Fox. It was, yeah.
Dude, there was a vampire show based on a role-playing game that was put out in the 90s. It was called Vampire the Masquerade was the role-playing game, but they did the show Kindred the Embraced.
Yep.
And I actually have, sitting over here by my TV, and it was bought for me for Christmas, I have the box set from Kindred the Embraced.
I'm sorry.
Which I like it because it's based on that role playing game, and I used to play that. I used to live action that role playing game.
We're about to do that. We're gonna turn our plaza and we're gonna do White Wolf. We're gonna do that.
You're gonna do a live action vampire?
Yeah, we're gonna do it over a weekend.
I used to do one every other weekend for 5 years, real time. I played in a live action vampire game.
I mean, dude, in the 90s, that's what you did, man.
Oh,
and those books, John Bolton's artwork on those books, my goodness.
Dude, all of the art from the 90s was so amazing.
And they all went on to do magic cards, too. They're the same people who were doing the covers and stuff for those books were doing magic cards. Shit was great, man. I love, dude, the 90s, I hate to date myself. The 90s was what we were before the internet. We had to go out and actually meet people and do stuff like this. Now you would just do it online and it'll suck.
Yeah.
If you try to do it online and they've tried to, it sucks. You cannot replace that. We're all 100 degrees outside. We got trench coats on, man.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any crazy questions? Anybody else want to try to lift up Howard the Duck? Anybody else? Come on. Do this all night.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Aaron Pritchard might have come up with the strongest argument. Possibly, but she's still going to lose this one because Cats had decent music. And yes, I know they covered up the buttholes of the cats, but you know what? People who own cats probably want to do that anyway. Teen Wolf 2, I don't know, guys. You guys are trying really hard. But see, Teen Wolf 2 at least had Teen Wolf to justify its existence. What justified Howard the Duck? Who greenlit that? Who read that script and read those and saw those storyboards and said, let's do this? I could at least see the pitch meeting for Teen Wolf. Hey, Teen Wolf was a hit. Michael J. Fox, let's try this again. I could see that. I need to time travel. I need to get in my TARDIS and go back to 1985 and see. And I want to be in that room and be like, you guys are seriously going to do this? Because let me tell you something. It's going to turn out really bad for you. Right? Woo! What's Chappie correct about?
Hold on, let me.
I don't know, William. Justice League is worse than Howard the Duck. No, Justice League. Oh my goodness. Justice League had redeemable qualities, even if we don't like the movie, and I don't like the movie overall.
William,
Yeah,
this is what I was talking about.
Oh, I remember it. I can't believe you own that, but
This little box set, it's beautiful, dude. Like, it's gorgeous box set.
is that a DVD or that VHS?
It's Blu-ray.
Oh shit! See, how does that get made into a Blu-ray? Because you got to pay money to get that made.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many they sold. But yeah, man, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that White Wolf madness here. It's gonna be fun.
See, it came with. Yeah, that's right. It came with like an explainer as to what the series was about and everything and where it came from.
Remember the Sabat?
Yes.
That's what we did. We would have the Sabat.
I used to play. Well, I played two. I played two different vampires in that live action game. I played a Bruja, Camarilla Bruja, that was Prince of the City for over a year before I was assassinated, and then I played a Sabat Samedi. This is the Blu-rays.
Cool.
And then it came with this, like, literally a book with notes and everything you want to know about the show.
Yeah, remember the first generation, how the game played out for Kane, the Canaanites, and all that? Yeah, it's like all kinds of shit.
Dude, I know. Look, I know everything there is to know about that game. I played that game from when it came out first edition to when it switched to Requiem to when it went back to Masquerade, and I'd still play now. If Werewolf was part of it. It was Werewolf, Mage, Wraith, Vampire.
Then you had the fairies and the madcaps and all that.
Well, the original five games was Vampire was first, then it was Werewolf, then it was Wraith, Mage, and Changeling. Those were the core 5 games. And then later on they added Prometheans, which were Frankenstein monsters. And then they added
it was over by then.
Sin Eaters and all sorts of other things. But
once they got to that point, it was done. It was over.
But yeah, that's what I. The White Wolf stuff was one of my major things, and they just reissued everything for 5th edition for the game, and it actually runs smoothly than it ever did, which is saying something.
Yeah, these damn kids for the internet. That's what we did. We actually went outside and played with each other. Next question. All you need. All in your head and Woodman Network. Okay, that's a first timer. That's a new person to at least. Well, I've been on the air. All right.
Vince says he used to play pen and paper RPGs like Conspiracy X, Vampire the Masquerade, D&D with a group of friends in the 90s. Dude, everybody that was a nerd had a role-playing game group in the 90s.
Or you were playing Magic.
Or you were playing, and I did both. I used to win tournaments in Magic the Gathering.
I would host them, like I told you. I would have a Mox or a Juzam Jin, and I would have a plastic medallion thing I hung around my neck, and the prize for the tournament I hung around my neck, so you all know what you were playing for, and then I would be in the tournament.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I love
it. Speaking of Vampire the Masquerade, would you like to see more shows and movies made for it? They are actually currently working on a show for Vampire the Masquerade that is going to actually be more Vampire the Masquerade than this thing I just showed you.
It better be on cable. It better.
Oh, it will be. It's going to be. Well, it's going to be streaming. It's going to be Amazon. Amazon's working on it.
Yeah, please don't ever try to make that show again on a network TV.
Oh no.
That was true.
Well, when they put it on network TV, it became Vampire 90210. I mean,
literally. The look, the hair, everything was like this.
But the thing is it was popular at the time that it came out. They were actually going to do a second season, But what stopped the second season of that show was Mark Frankel, the guy who played the prince, Julian Luna, died in a motorcycle wreck.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
And by the way, his son, Mark Frankel's son, was in House of the Dragon.
Yeah, just like we're finding out all this stuff connected to each other, like the damn, like John Lennon's dying on the same day Queen's soundtrack was released for Flash Gordon. Wow. All right, next one. Skip that dude Vince question. I don't need to hear about his cat's butts.
What? Hold on, I wanted to show you a picture real quick that I'm looking for. The guy who played Julian Luna in this Vampire the Masquerade show, this is his son Fabian. And you'll recognize him.
He played
You'll recognize him immediately when I show you the picture.
Madhor. He played Sir Kristen.
Yep.
Okay.
Right there. And Sir Criston Cole, yeah. Looks like his dad. If you put him up next to images of his dad, he looks a lot like his father.
That sucks. He lost his dad at a very early age.
Oh yeah, he wasn't even born yet actually when his dad passed.
Oh, that sucks.
He was born, I think, like 3 months after his dad passed. Since the vampire myth came from mostly Romania, would you guys like to see media related to Strigoi along with Perlochis, aka Romanian werewolves? Okay, so the vampire myth did not originate in Romania. It actually originally originated in ancient Greece. Now, the Strigoi did move into like Eastern Europe, but originally the vampire came out of ancient Greece. But every civilization, and here's what makes things about vampires very interesting. Every civilization has a legend of vampires. The ancient Hebrews, the ancient pre-monotheistic Hebrews had Lilith, who was the first wife of Adam. She was a vampire.
And Cain was turned into a vampire. Yeah.
And Cain was Cain had the mark of the first murderer, thus became a vampire.
That was the original sin that he paid for.
Yep.
That's where Canaanites came from.
Yep.
So yeah, man. Interesting stuff. Yeah, we're gonna do that vampire thing. I'll get that set up. I'm gonna do a vampire one. I'm gonna do a Blade Runner one where I turn the whole plaza and you gotta go hunt down the replicants.
William, do you remember where you were when John Lennon was murdered?
Yes. I was home with my dad. I found out from my dad because they announced that he was watching football. And I really had no grasp on who he was. I didn't know who John Lennon was at the time. I only knew I had known of him. I had heard him because I was a kid, but I was 6. I was 6. I just turned 6 years old.
I remember my mom cried, and I had some idea of who the Beatles were, but I wasn't sure completely who they were talking about, and that didn't really come to light with me until I was in my teens.
Yeah, same here. I knew he had died because, and then like I said, those are the two things in a 2-year period that really resonated to me as a kid was Reagan's attempted assassination and John Lennon dying. Yep. I knew who Reagan was, obviously, but I did not know who John Lennon was until he was dead, unfortunately, I was 6. I was barely 6 years old.
This guy says, William, this is Thomas who painted the TARDIS. This is my channel name. Hi.
Thomas who painted the TARDIS. Which TARDIS? I've had several. Thomas, was it the walk-in TARDIS that we had in here? With the computer and stuff in it? Is that the one you did? Did you paint a TARDIS? Dude, I've done so much Doctor Who related activities in the last 10, 15 years. Do me a favor, Thomas. Clarify who you are, because I'm pretty sure I'll remember you if I get it a little bit more.
Clinton Huntley says he played a Malkavian that everyone feared.
Oh yeah, Clint was.
Malkavians are insane. So yeah, everybody fears Malkavians. I actually played a Malkavian once that he had different personalities. I had 3 different personalities. One was Baby Huey. He acted like a child. Uh, one was a serial killer, and the other one was just me as a regular person.
That's crazy.
Trauma John was the name I had when I was being the serial killer personality. And they called me Trauma John because my head was wrapped in a blanket that was bleeding off to the side from a head injury.
Wow. That's crazy. All right,
Yeah.
next one.
Dude, I could do a whole show on stuff I played when it came to Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, we might have to.
Dude, I could so talk about it. Oh my god, yes. So much.
Don't make
And
people
dude,
remember.
we need because more people, I'm surprised that you know what Vampire the Masquerade was, but then again, you run a shop, so.
I was all in that stuff, dude. We sold the books, we sold we sold everything that because remember in the mid '90s, that was when comic books themselves weren't doing,
Right.
the best. So you had to Magic was what kept a lot of stores open. Magic the Gathering, and White Wolf was there.
He said from the music video, the first.
Oh,
video.
okay, because I thought he meant mine. All right,
He was the airbrush artist.
okay, gotcha. The thing about White Wolf is it wasn't as easy to play. You needed people. You needed multiple people to be able to play it. With Magic, you just needed 2 people and 2 decks, and you were done.
Yeah.
We still did. I mean, there was a guy out here named Carl. He used to own Cool Collectibles, which is right over here. He had a ranch, and they all went out to the ranch and they played that for the weekend.
We had an anime store that we played at. But like by the time we'd get out there, because we started at like 7:00 at night, he would have already closed for the day, and then like the people who owned the building allowed him to use every store in the building for us to play Vampire at. So
that's cool. It's going to be kind of like with us. We have people that are in the plaza.
We had control, but we had control of that whole building. So, and then I remember after the game, we cut off game at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and after game we would all go to Taco Cabana. And we would take up their whole patio because there was 85 people that played in that game. There's 85 people, live action, costumed, with 6 storytellers.
Yeah, it could get crazy. It could get crazy, and like I said, they would have like big old feast and stuff like that.
What's funny
they would start a character and they wouldn't break character until Sunday night.
We had a test to get in to check your generation. Okay, if you didn't pass the test, you started out 13th generation, which is the weakest blood ever for vampires, right? If you passed the test, you got to start out as 8th generation, which is 7 steps removed from Cain. I more than aced the test when I came to that game because I'd already played the desktop for years. So every question they tried to stump me with, I answered. They even asked me obscure shit, and I answered it. So I came in. They actually allowed me to start out 7th generation with my Brujah character.
All right, next. You got any more questions? Because we'll have to save this for a show.
Now we're
caught up. Any more crazy statements? Anybody going to try to throw any more movies at me that are?
Vincent says the MMO he plays, EVE Online, is made by CCP, who at one point owned White Wolf and had planned to make a World of Darkness, which never ended up happening. Though there are some good World of Darkness video games, Bloodlines was a really good game and is still going.
All right.
Larry says, not only did we have Lilith, but we also had Dibbits and Golems. Yes, Jews get supernatural credit. Yes, you do. Very much so. And I actually know a lot about Jewish... I actually studied the Kabbalah and stuff like that. We'll have to talk someday, Larry.
I bet William has a secret shrine that works with Howard the Duck. No, fun. I do not.
Any Yui Bowl movies versus Howard the Duck? I will watch a Yui Bowl movie over Howard the Duck.
I actually have a slight admiration for those movies because I like I said, I watch Trump, so.
William and Fade, are there any existing movie franchises that feel like they're beating a dead horse and should stop? Yes, Fast X.
Yeah, but they're gonna make some money off of it.
Yeah.
I can't even because most of them that are still in existence are in existence because they're making money with. So by default, the horse is still alive. So,
Yeah. The horse is holding on, but he's not doing
Yeah.
well.
there you go.
Jennifer's Body or Howard the Duck?
Jennifer's Body.
Dude, have you ever seen the director's cut of Jennifer's Body? It's really good.
And Jennifer's Body, like I said, it's not Scorsese, but it's not a bad movie. You're comparing a not so great movie to a truly awful one, guys. I mean, it's, every time, everyone you guys have brought up, it's been like, it was a slight waste of time. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't see. I mean, but whereas I left the movie enraged, an enraged 12-year-old is what I left. Okay, that's a different story altogether. They are not the same. Let's see.
Sorry, I'm getting mobbed by a dog. Give me a second.
Oh, okay.
All right, dude, little guy, chill out. Chillax, brother. He does this every time I turn this camera on. He wants to be in the picture.
Oh, because you're not giving him his full attention.
Okay. Hold on. You get to be on camera now. See? There you go.
I think he just wants you. He's jealous because he hears you talking to somebody and he can't see him, so he's like, "It's another dog. It's another dog, isn't it?"
Silly puppins. William, you have to agree. Howard the Duck is better than Nuki. No, you don't. Toxie is awesome.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners better than Blade Runner? No.
No.
You guys are
Vincent.
reaching right now, man.
Vincent with the all from the puppins.
Yeah, I could give you guys literally a month to come up with some awful movies that it just wouldn't be the same effect, and they don't have the same effect as some of the awful movies that
Chappie says you guys seriously need to do a Mystery Science Theater.
I don't know if I could make it through.
Commentary on Howard the Duck.
I don't know if I could make it through. Once we got like 10 minutes into it, I would be thinking to myself, "There's got to be something better that I could be doing with my time." I mean, I would be like, time is fleeting, and I would have to be like, while I'm sitting here watching this dreck of a movie, there's got to be something I could be doing. I will never get this time back.
Howard the Duck or Mac and Me?
I never saw Mac and Me.
Ultraviolet or Howard the Duck?
Ultraviolet.
Would you wear a Howard the Duck costume for charity?
Yeah, we'd have to wait a shit ton of money, though. I mean, we'd have to wait. It couldn't be no couple $100. It'd have to be like thousands.
Tremors or Howard the Duck?
Oh, Tremors is a classic, dude. Now,
And-
they went a little bit too far with the sequels, but Tremors is like...
What are your guys' opinions on riff tracks?
I'm okay with them. They say a lot of the same stuff I say when I'm watching a dumb movie or when I'm watching some of those movies. We've done that here. I think they're cool.
Halloween Resurrection or Howard the Duck?
Howard the Duck. One was. They're both bad concepts and should have never been made. But I can justify making a Halloween movie. Now I can't guarantee you it's going to be great because the last two sucked. But I can at least put yourself into the meeting that justified Halloween, and now put yourself in the meeting that justified Howard the Duck. Which one are you going to laugh at?
William, if you watch Howard the Duck and we super chat the entire time, it'd be worth it.
You'd have to, dude. That would probably be the whole thing. You'd have to super chat that.
93 Super Mario Brothers with Leguizamo or Howard the Duck?
For 1993, that was actually a highly regarded. The people were excited about that movie. And when I heard Howard the Duck after being a comic book collector, and Man Thing being one of my favorite comics,
Yeah.
and Howard the Duck being kind of good, my expectations were high.
Yeah, dude, I expected Man Thing.
The
Emoji movie or
the
Howard the
emoji
Duck?
movie was so stupid I laughed. The stupidity
Dude,
of Howard the Duck I did not laugh at. So there you go.
Sausage Party or Howard the Duck?
There's a lot of innuendo in Sausage Party though that you have to really understand.
The
The innuendo in Howard the Duck is kind of gross.
rule for the Howard stream should be only super chats allowed. True.
Yeah, literally. That's the only way you can make that work. Some good would have to come out of that.
Oh man.
Probably more than the movie actually made too.
Larry says, "Ooh, I have one. Tiptoes or Howard."
I haven't seen Tiptoes. Apparently, it's bad if you're putting it in the same sentence as that.
Oh, Lord.
Although Tom put Flash Gordon in the same sentence as Howard the Duck.
Dude, I could never be mad about Flash Gordon though, because Star Wars was a weird mix of Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, and Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. So
Yeah, I mean, I love that movie.
Jason X or Howard the Duck?
Jason X is dumb. But once again,
Hey, it's
I'm
okay.
in the meeting. I'm in the meeting, and I'm like, Jason killing people for a 10th time,
Hey guys,
or
it's
bestiality.
okay. He just came back to get his machete.
Yeah, or bestiality. Yeah.
If Halloween remained an anthology series, which kind of the Halloween horror stories would you like to see outside of Babysitter Killers and Psychological Celtic Curse?
Well, I don't. The Celtic Curse I hated.
You know, actually, I have found a new appreciation for Season of the Witch. The more I've watched it, it's actually, if you take it out of context of being a Halloween series
Exactly.
movie,
That's what you have to do.
it would be a good little Halloween movie. It would be a good little and it fit what that series was supposed to be about. You know, the Babysitter Murders, Michael Myers was only supposed to be the first two movies. The rest of it was supposed to be an anthology. So,
Ouch.
Gary Oldman played a midget in Tiptoes.
Gary Oldman can play anything.
Dude, best kill in Jason X is when he freezes that chick's head with the liquid nitrogen and then shatters her. Yeah.
See, so that movie right there.
Or the guy who fell onto the giant corkscrew, and the woman's like, when they ask about him, she's like, he's screwed. William and Thade, are you guys fans of Scooby Doo at all? I was. I haven't really thought about them
before I knew that they were interstate drug dealers. Yeah.
Interstate drug dealers. Dude, there was an episode of the show Supernatural called Scooby Natural where they did an animated episode of Supernatural with the Scooby Doo characters.
I heard about that.
It was actually it was worth watching. It was funny.
They didn't have jobs, so how'd they pay for anything? They had a dog that they talked to, and he talked back, so one of the two is on drugs. Scooby Snacks, come on now. And they had a hippie van. Yeah.
Leprechaun in the Hood or Howard the Duck?
Hold up. Hold up. You cannot disparage Leprechaun in the Hood. Lep in the Hood about to do no good. You cannot. That is something that had no business being as good as it was. It's hilarious. Ice-T and Warwick Davis rapping, going back and forth.
Yeah.
And watch the end credits of Leprechaun in the Hood when he's doing his rap. Oh my God. I hurt myself. I strained my side. That movie's great. So yeah, Lep in the Hood was the Godfather compared to that movie.
Do you remember the Freddy Krueger rap song?
The what?
The Freddy Krueger rap song. Do you remember it?
Yeah, that was stupid. Did I watch? Yeah, we promoted that movie. And it
Yes,
had,
I watched the Emoji Movie. I hear Supernatural is good. Actually, if you can get through the show, it is really good. There's only 2 seasons. It's 15 seasons long, but It's really good, with the exception of two seasons were horribly done. But like the rest of the movie, the other 12 seasons, it's really good. Scooby Natural was great. Yeah, Scooby Natural was a cool episode. Leprechaun is awesome. Yeah. When Scooby Doo came on, I knew the Saturday morning cartoons were almost over. True. Scooby was kind of at the end. William, dressed as a duck, watching Howard the Duck while eating a duck. Now that's big money right there.
We better make big money if I ever did that.
Critters 4 Howard the Duck.
Critters 4. Easy.
Yes, Larry, 15 seasons.
Yeah, it's like the Law and Order of supernatural shows.
But it's to have 12 consistently good seasons out of 15 is saying something for a show that lasted that long.
Yeah, especially like when you have X-Files that really died on the vine after 4th season.
Dude, did you ever watch the show that went along with X-Files called Millennium that had Lance?
I tried, and it was awful, in my opinion. I saw what they were trying to do. I just wasn't into it. I just didn't buy any of it.
I may be the only human on planet Earth, but Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is much better than Halloween 2. Honestly, I agree. I have to say I agree here.
Wow. Halloween 2 is epic, man. All that killing in the hospital. A useless, gratuitous nude scene for no reason at all. Why are you banging in the middle of a hospital? Hot tub? Why?
Remember when he boiled her in the bathtub? In the hot tub?
Why, of all the places you could be doing it, why are you doing? You got patients, you got nursery, you got a cure. Why is it when there's a killer running around somewhere, everybody's got to get naked? It's like a prerequisite. It's not even, doesn't have anything to do with the story. Mass murder running around. Let's go camping where people have died, been killed, and slaughtered, been disemboweled. Priority number 1, let's get naked and bang.
William.
What?
Why is it in Friday the 13th movies they always run upstairs?
Yeah. Well,
the door's that way. Leave the house. Get to the cars. Go.
Yeah. It's like, wow.
You know, I actually just binge watched all of the Friday the 13th movies.
Oof, that's brain damage right there.
And holy crap, the amount of times they got to the cars to leave and the cars ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, what are you doing to get home with?
Though on this, I will say this. On the rewatch, I actually have gained a new appreciation for Friday the 13th Part 7. The one with the psychic chick versus Jason. That's actually a pretty cool concept if they'd done it a little bit better.
After Part 6, I was done.
Dude, what's your favorite Friday the 13th movie?
Part 3 in 3D. One of the greatest.
My favorites are either 4, 6, or the remake.
6 was so much bullshit. I mean, how he gets brought back. And Arnold Horshack is in that movie, by the way. The guy who plays Arnold Horshack accidentally brings him back because he
gets killed.
Let's pick him up to make sure he's dead, and you bring him back to life. Wonderful. Yeah, it got stupid. I mean, it was getting stupid to begin with, but Friday the 13th Part 3, one of the best horror movies ever made, 3D or otherwise.
Dude.
That's where he gets the mask, by the way.
The fact that 2, 3...
And Friday the 13th Part 3.
The fact that 2...
becomes known for Part 3.
The fact that 2, 3, and 4 all are in the same weekend is really awesome.
Yeah. Great movies. No, I did not, Alabaster.
I have actually seen the Supernatural anime series, and all it really did was retell the story of some of the episodes. Steven Seagal, Sniper Special Ops, or Howard the Duck?
Steven Seagal. It's not great, but it's Steven Seagal. It's the minimum you get from him.
Okay, I think he's one. Howard the Duck are getting kicked in the nuts repeatedly for 2 hours. I'd watch Howard the Duck and not get kicked in the nuts.
What is kicking me in the nuts? You have to clarify. If it's an animal, then maybe. If it's a human, I've won money by taking that kind of bet. So We got to clarify their numbers.
Larry Quaterwood
Automatic
says, William, did you start watching From yet? And you have to catch up.
No and no. I
Dude,
will.
All I know is that it looks freaky. I have not seen it yet, but it looks freaky.
Yeah, it looks like something I'd be into.
3D Jaws: The Revenge or Howard the Duck?
3D Jaws. I mean, the 3D didn't work, and like I said, but once again, let's go back to the concept meeting. Jaws is a successful franchise. It's easy. Let's do a shark. 1982 was great for, I think, 1982 or 83. Great years for Parasite. I can see it. At no point in time, with a straight face, am I sitting through the Howard Duck pitch meeting. I'm like, you want to do what? Get out of my office.
Ed and His Dead Mother or Howard the Duck?
I haven't seen Ed and His Dead Mother, but it sounds more intriguing than Howard the Duck ever did.
Numbers says, I feel like Friday the 13th Part 2 is underrated. It's actually a good movie.
Well, yeah, that's when he first starts killing. That's why.
Yeah. Though, in the very first part of that movie, when he's stalking Alice, when you see him step down off the curb and he's walking, that's not actually a guy. That is a prop manager female walking as Jason.
Figures.
Speaking of Friday the 13th remake, what do you guys think of the idea that it's part of the same universe as the Michael Bay Transformers movies because of Trent being in the film?
That's almost as dumb as them remaking Friday the 13th.
Though I think it's funny that he gets spiked to the back of a hay hauler.
Yeah, I hated that movie.
Friday the 13th Part 3 and or Final Chapter are the best. After watching them over 40 times each, I would say that Final Chapter is the best. I actually really love the Final Chapter, which is Part 4. Like I said, 2 to 4 is all in the same weekend. Timeline-wise? 2 to 4 is all in the same weekend.
I still have the Blu-ray here, or the DVD that comes with the glasses, because we did a drive-in of Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D, and we're all wearing our glasses. I got a picture of us all wearing our glasses watching it. Kind of cool.
Jason Takes Manhattan or Howard the Duck?
Jason Takes Manhattan. By the time Jason Takes Manhattan came out, it's like Fast and the Furious. You already were predisposed to the stupidity you're about to see. But at least the kills in each of these movies were still good. That's one thing that never failed the Friday the 13th movie. Even if they got dumber and dumber, the kills are what you're going for. What am I going to Howard the Duck for? And if you're going to Howard the Duck for anything, what was wrong with you at that day?
Ed and His Dead Mother is a mid-90s Steve Buscemi flick. The mom dies and they feed her bugs to bring her back to life.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That sounds better than Howard the Duck right there.
Have you ever seen Idle Hands, William?
Yeah.
With Devon Sawa?
Jessica Alba's in that, isn't she?
Yeah, that movie is amazingly funny.
All right.
And also Jaws: The Revenge, the shark roars like a lion. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and chases people.
And
It's an animal. It doesn't care. It doesn't remember you. Come on.
And the mom can sense the shark.
Yeah. It was like, come on. Jaws.
Which Autobot or Decepticon would you think Jason Voorhees could take on? They would squish him.
Yeah.
They're 20-foot plus tall monsters.
And they're not robots. They're robots. Megatron would disintegrate them. That's it. It's over.
Superman: The Quest for Peace, Batman and Robin, or Howard the Duck?
It's not even close. Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
I did not like Batman and Robin. I thought it was a bad movie. I did not like Superman: The Quest for Peace. Thought it was a bad movie. Howard the Duck
is still worse.
Howard the Duck is an awful movie.
Howard the Duck's still worse.
Keep trying, guys. I guess I don't know. Maybe you'll get one. Maybe somebody will
Robert Shaw
surprise
was
me.
great in the original Jaws. I agree.
Oh yeah.
Superman 4 and Batman 4. Yep.
Here you go. Because Batman Forever is one of my favorite comic book movies. All right.
We're at the end of the questions again.
All right. Well, that's it, guys. We actually went a little bit longer than usual. It is midnight. It is now the 21st. 21st of May. It's Sunday. Woohoo. We've done it. After witnessing a week of doing it personally, I have shepherded you in from what was once Saturday to what now is Sunday. Hope you guys had a good time trying to redeem Howard the Duck, and you all failed, just like it did in the theaters.
You failed
Um,
miserably.
Discussed a whole bunch of weird stuff, but that's what this is what our show does. The show just gets weirder by the minute. Give it another hour, who the hell knows what we were talking to? So let's cut it off here. So, all right, guys. I will probably be back on tomorrow night unless I go see a movie, but it'll just be for a Midnight Express or something like that. Other than that, that's it. That's it. I will see you guys on the other side. I think I got everything off my chest. I think I can go to sleep now. I gotta go get some food because Sister Kim's closed while I was on the air. Damn it! It closed while we were on that previous stream, so now I gotta starve and go to Subway, which is a downgrade. So, all right, guys, be safe. Have a happy rest of your Sunday, and we will see you next time.